I Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time once again. I am the world's wokest warrior, primitive-sided, toxic fanboy aligned with the like-minded, Tony Tone Deaf, rocking with you. I want to welcome everyone back to the Clown World Review. We did take last week off, so I thank everybody for hanging in there. Shout out to everybody in the chat. 24 Eyes, Outcast Owls Live. Good to see you, brother. Superfan Adam Shahan, how are you, sir? It's always great to see you. I know you're dealing with that reverse weather right now. You know, out here in Las Vegas, we're having a rare day in the 90s for the month of June. Usually we're around like 105 to 110 right now. I know you're feeling that where you are, Adam, so just fucking hang in there, man. And you got the humidity. No fun. Brutal Morningwood, shout out to you, sir. Thank you for all the love on Twitter, just sharing out the links and making a good time out of it. I fucking appreciate that, man. I love you, bro. Yeah, welcome to the Monday Night War Retrospective. Tonight, we're going to go ahead and play catch-up. We're going to be reviewing both Week 61 and Week 62. Those are the dates of November 4th, 1996 and November 11th, 96. Pivotal week in the Monday Night War. We've got Austin 316 meeting Pillman 9mm a little later on. We've also got, okay, so we saw a little bit of The Rock on Monday Night Raw a couple weeks ago when Triple H and Mark Merrill wrestled for the Intercontinental Championship. He was kind of watching the match on a monitor in the back, but we'd actually see Rocky get his hands a little dirty tonight. He gets mixed up in some action on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, big weeks going on. Also over on WCW, Bischoff is trying to get Roddy Piper signed for a Hollywood Hogan Roddy Piper match at Starrcade. So we'll see how everything pans out. And we'll jump into these results. Before that, though, let me go ahead and introduce my wonderful panel first. He's got the red, white, and blue running through his veins like he's Demi Lovato. He was born and raised in the USA like one of Ezra Miller's victims. Ladies and gentlemen, Etep Wokuian from Etep Wokuian's Place to Be Reviews.
What's up, y'all? It's Etep. A lot less goatee today. I just fucking cut it off. And I'm happy to be here, although I did not get a chance to watch the wrestling because y'all know the situation. I'm in the middle of a lot of stuff, but I'm still happy to be here. I did see this, but it was a long time ago, so I'm going to have to go by Tony's retelling of it this evening. But I'm happy to be here, hail this chat, in this wonderful panel. I'm just glad to be back on Tuesday night here reviewing some good wrestling.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you for joining us. And
Welcome, brother.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Papa Cotton. Great to see you as well, bro. Hope you're doing well. Let's go ahead and geez, man, I keep having a vampire guy. Remind me on like Wednesdays to write down your end. Like every week, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna say this for Draven. And I always fucking forget, and I still Etep's fucking intro.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah. You introduce him.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is the fandom collective vampire. He don't sparkle, but he sure do shine. Twinkle, twinkle, baby. It's Angelous Draven.
Hey guys, what's up? Should be a good week. We got some interesting things happening on both shows actually. But we were talking backstage, me and Tony, and I think Raw is kind of like stealing the show right now, just as far as with everything with Austin goes and all that stuff. So yeah, should be a good show.
Yeah, I don't know if they were waiting for Bret Hart to come back or what it was, but basically Bret Hart returned, gave us promo, and then we got the perfect hoax, the really great angle with Mr. Perfect, Triple H, and Mark Mero. Triple H ended up walking out with the Intercontinental Championship, and it's like since then, WWE has gone from like 0 to 60, and they really I was like Draven and I were talking backstage. I've barely even seen Triple H since he won the Intercontinental Championship, but it feels like they've really just gone all in on Steve Austin. And Hail Judas Goat Barbecue, great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it's like he's the main feature. I mean, we haven't even seen Bret Hart that much since his return. Steve Austin has been like the main feature on Raw every week, and at best co-sharing it with the angle between Sid and Shawn Michaels. But I mean, I think Austin's been getting more airtime than anybody. It's good to see. It's awesome. He's my favorite wrestler. So yeah, and then over and not a knock on Nitro either. Love me some WCW, but it's been a little, paint by the numbers as of late, even though in the second week we've got a big return that we're going to talk about. So yeah, I can't wait to get into it, guys.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yes. So let me check here to see if I sent myself over the picture.
Well, it's while you're looking for that, y'all in the chat, if you didn't hear, this August I will be making my return to professional wrestling. As a man, my goatee is fucked. I gotta get the new trimmer tomorrow. I'm going to be ring announcing for Shogun Pro Wrestling, their debut show. When I did the wrestling show on Tuesday nights last year and a half ago. Jared the Barbarian, my boy, he was a referee in Imperial Wrestling Entertainment, and he started wrestling after I had retired. He and another guy that I used to wrestle with there, who was trained by Lance Storm, are starting a promotion. He wanted me to come in and work. I said I'm not physically in shape to work, but what I do have is a voice, and so I'm going to. He offered me the ring announcer spot, so I'm going to ring announce for him. So Trey at least get to see me do that for the time being until, like I said, I get the weight room, which all the weights are down there now. I got to get it set up. So, but yeah, you all will have some pictures of it. I'm going to be covering the shit out of that for the channel. And he's actually starting a training facility too, and he'll have a ring there all the time. So there might be we might live stream from out there. It might be from the phone, but yeah, it might live stream a little bit when I'm out there doing some bumping and rolling and shit. So yeah, that's I'm excited, man. I'm excited. So I wanted to share that with y'all because we're on a wrestling show, and I'm getting back into it just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit for now until the wife goes away for the weekend. I'm like, all right, I need a match. Let's do this shit.
Hell yeah! Shout out to Red Gaze. Definitely coming out strong with the terms of endearment, brother. It's great to see you. My sketchbook 340.
Hail.
Yes. So yeah, what I wanted to show you guys, first off, let's address before we have any fun. Let's go ahead and address a pretty serious topic in professional wrestling right now. And thank you, Draven, for sharing this link. For those that have heard Jeff Hardy, I was hoping he was kind of past his problems, and I get it. He's had a I've lived a different life than him, so I mean, I'm not judging the guy at all. I just know that he did get a DUI. He was pulled over driving drunk, and as more details start to leak out in this story, it's taken a turn for the darker side. So number one, I just want to start off, there ain't no judgment here, but Jeff, I hope you get help, man, because we were all watching you over on Draven's channel for AEW Double or Nothing, and we were all kind of concerned for you, man.
Yep.
Yeah, so from TMZ, Jeff Hardy DUI arrest video. 3 officers pulled guns on wrestler during a stop. Let's take a look at this here.
It looks like a pretty routine kind of like.
Oh, hold on. I didn't know we were gonna have audio.
DUI stop, honestly. But yeah.
Yeah.
But he tries to play it off that he has his license, and he had lost his license because this is his 3rd DUI. So he had lost his license. He was supposed to get it back in October. So if he would have just waited, well, if he wasn't drinking to begin with, and he would have just waited, like, he would have been fine.
That's not the vehicle I would picture Jeff Hardy.
I was gonna say, is this motherfucker driving a stock like V6 Dodge Charger? Like, holy shit, dude! That's like this.
Could be a rental too.
I was gonna say that's got to be a rental because like this dude should be like rolling. That's like a $35,000 car, and is like that's like as far as like Chargers go, that's not like a muscle car. That's just a V6. Like,
yeah, that's the shell of a Charger.
Yeah. Chargers weren't 4-door sedans either. That's what bothered me about that.
Yeah. Man, they're not fucking around.
No. Hey, Vinny's here.
Hey guys.
Hey, old Vinny.
Did they get Pelosi again?
He went to drive away. This is Jeff Hardy's DUI video, man.
Yeah. They said he's
130.
facing 5 years.
132. I've got him at gunpoint. It's the beginning of Cops. Huh! Bad boys.
Thank you, TMZ, and please don't strike me. We're watching this out of concern, sir.
Right?
That's
This
right.
is education. This is educational.
Tony Khan did release a statement too about how he's suspended right now from anything going forward.
Yeah,
in lieu of him,
he was in that condition when they sent him out there to the pay-per-view.
Yeah. So like he's suspended in lieu of getting treatment, and he seems open to the idea of getting treatment. And they've had similar things in AEW with John Moxley, and he went and got help, and now he's fine. So
Well, that's good at least.
You twist of fate and swanton off the Charger.
Look, Tony. That's just a car.
They clearly have no idea who he is. Either.
I think they do. That's why they were so rough with him.
Right. They're like, hey, they start Ric Flair chopping him.
Do you think I have what it takes to be a tag champ?
There used to be a tag team called the Highway Patrol. You think we could rehash that gimmick, brother?
He's gonna jump off the hood of the car and land on him.
Jeff's like, he gets up there, he's like, fucking swantons onto the pavement.
Harry, go ahead and have a seat up here for me. Oh, don't fall over.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he's at the top rope during a pay-per-view. Holy shit.
Stand over there, Trooper. All right, so why are we kind of all over the place, running on and off the road? We got like, what, 3, 4 911 calls on you?
Jeez.
What's up with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where are you coming from?
North Carolina.
And where is your final destination? So you're coming from North Carolina, going to North Carolina? I got you. You have an average driver's license on you?
He checks like he has one.
Yeah, where's your wallet located?
Yeah, they said he had a temporary license.
Where's your wallet located? Earth? I don't know.
In the car there. He's like, hey, can I go get it?
No, I can get it. Where's it located?
Oh, Dude, the Sentinel coming in hot. Look at this shit.
Appointment for your head coming up. Do you mind if I ask what that's for? Brainstorm?
Oh yeah,
They
yeah.
should-
I heard people
they
talking
should-
about him.
They should get Jeff Hardy back in WWE, have him start a new faction with Jey Uso called the DUIs, and have him be managed by Sonny. She's going to jail for murder,
Yeah.
vehicular
What?
manslaughter.
manslaughter? Oh,
I don't know. It'll be vehicular manslaughter, I'm sure.
Wow. Was that also this weekend?
That was like a couple months ago, I think.
Yeah, it was a couple months ago.
Wow. So she stopped doing porn to drive people over?
And she killed some. She was driving somebody else's car when she did it.
Do you have
I
any
wish it
other
was in New
doctors
Jersey.
that can treat me?
Sorry, Tone.
And then Sting shows up, does a quick roll up pin. The cop gives a quick 3 count.
And then he goes, "This is bullshit."
The crowd throws popcorn at him.
Mr. Hardy. We're going to keep our hands out of our pockets, though, okay? I appreciate you. You Jacksonville Jaguars fan? Come on. Yeah. Well, I just saw the shirt. All right.
Come
Well, I
on, you
want
can
you to stay on the white
swanton
line
off
of
a
Facebook.
ladder, walk
You can
straight.
hear me pretty clearly?
It's funny because they have him like put his
I just want to make sure.
feet together, and then he like puts his arms out.
All right. So what I want you to do is put your feet together, arms down to your side. Just relax. You know what day it is?
He's like, "It's fun day."
Mhm.
What I
It's
would
me
like you to do,
time.
Stand by your side, feet together. And put them a little bit more together, like this. Look at my feet. Okay, Mr. Hardy, look at my
It's
feet.
International Gash Day.
All I'm saying is that's not a 4
What I want you to
o'clock
do
sky. You
Look
know,
at the
that's
very
early
tip
in
of
the
my hand
day.
with your
Yeah.
eyes.
It was like
Okay.
early in the morning.
Oh,
Move your
yeah,
head for any
Monday
close
morning.
touch. You understand, Mr. Hardy? Open your eyes. Oh,
This fool was so drunk he was
Very good.
driving to Raw.
try and open your eyes as best as you can. I'd like to see your pupils.
He was going to Nitro.
All right.
It was at the Norfolk Scope.
Not out loud. To 30. We'll begin.
Matt shows up at the station. Delete, delete, delete.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But slower.
Damn.
Hey, Rook, give me another set of cuffs, please.
Jesus.
You heard the reason why he got so high, right? They said he was
Why?
afraid of the ghost of Brian Pillman with his 9mm.
I think you missed 24.
You know what's going to happen next? Nick
What?
Jackson from the Young Bucks is going to
The
get a
bigger guy, we're going to do
DUI.
2 handcuffs, okay?
Oh,
So the
shit.
time is 9:54 a.m. You are under arrest for the offense of
9:54 a.m.
hmm It sucks too because he was supposed to have a match with the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express for the tag titles in a ladder match tonight or tomorrow night.
Dude.
And now it's just they nicked the first they canceled it, but now the match is back on, but they nixed the Hardys out of it.
What's most important here is I just, get help, Jeff, because you've put your body on the line to fucking entertain fans for a long time, and I know the dude's got to be in pain, and if you got to hang up the boots, hang them up, but
Yep.
don't fucking tarnish your legacy, man.
Right.
So,
And don't kill anybody. Like Sonny.
yeah. So, Tony Khan says we were able to resume contact with Jeff Hardy this afternoon. AEW does not condone. See, I want to see a company that does condone it. Like, we think it was kick-ass, but AEW does not condone Jeff's alleged behavior. Alleged. We've made it clear to Jeff that we'll assist him in getting treatment for substance abuse issues, which he has indicated that he's open to receiving. In the interim, he is suspended without pay, and he can only return to AEW upon successfully completing treatment and maintaining his sobriety. If you or a loved one needs help, please reach out to this number right here. So, I've had a few alcoholic family members. It's never easy. I lost my uncle to cirrhosis of the liver. So, alcohol's some bad shit, it really is, and I don't think they should like ban it or anything, but goddamn, they should most young adults, really fall into it when they're younger, and I just think there are better things to fall into, even if you got to smoke a J or something. Like
I-
really fucks you up. It does.
I like my wine.
mean,
And that's it. You have to be able. It's self control, but yeah, it is. But you can fall into that trap where everything turns into a habit, and like I do. I like to have now. Once I start training again, which I'm right on that. Getting everything set up at the new house. I won't drink during the week. I won't drink barely at all. Like. I don't. When I start training and I get back on like my eating routine, I don't do that.
That's good.
Absolutely.
You don't
absolutely.
need to. We see what you do anyway. It's you're home after work. You're not driving. You're not doing anything. You're on a stream. You're having a glass of wine or two.
Yeah.
And a couple of edibles. That's it.
No
one's getting hurt.
No, and that's the thing is like it's my unwind. It's my and I don't let it interfere with other parts of my life. And like Jeff, in his case, it's bled over. But you've got to realize at this point, he's what? Is he 50?
He's close. He's in his 40s. All things in moderation is the bottom line. I mean,
I look at it like, and this guy has been always had this high risk.
44, yeah.
Oh my God, he's only 2 years older than me. Okay, Jesus Christ, he looks like he's 50 years old. But we're talking. He's been in the business since he was what, 15, 16 years old. Him and Matt were lying about their age to get on shows. I mean, you have to understand what this does to your body. And as somebody who, honestly, when I did wrestle full time, I drank more because of what it does to your fucking body. And afterwards, it's just like, Jesus Christ, at some point, like, you can't, and I'm not saying this because you can't, there's not enough painkillers to fucking numb that shit. There isn't. So you look to other than that's, and sadly he used it as a crutch, and it's affecting the other parts of his life. And dude needs to get help, bro. Like there's resources, and now you've again fallen on legal trouble, and it's sad. It's sad because look at the highs of these guys, like, and not even just Jeff Hardy, but other guys that have been, big names and gotten in trouble for just dumb shit. Look at the highs that these guys have, and the way we look, like when we were younger, okay, when we were teenagers, looking at these wrestlers, like they were like fucking gods. You know what I mean? They were, and now you look at them, and it's like all their flaws are exposed. They're just people now playing a part. And it's like, you see that and it's like, man, this fucking shit is sad. This shit is sad.
It is.
Because we always thought, these guys have got to be, they have wealth beyond imagine, and they can barely afford rental cars and meals half the time because the shit they get paid, and they don't have any benefits. Only a couple people in the company are flying on private jets and getting limos and making, 7 figures. The rest of these guys are making 50, 60, 70,000 a year, which might sound decent, but when you couple in the fact that they're paying for their own meals and travel expenses, at the end of the year, they're making maybe 35, 40 grand sometimes because they're on the road 285 days a fucking year. So they're independent contractors with no healthcare benefits.
Yep.
Just
I think Tony they actually have a lot of that stuff in place for the
them
wrestlers with AEW, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people want to go to AEW is because of the
coverage and everything.
Kudos. I did not know that. Kudos to them for that, because that's I didn't know that. No, I'm not that. Like I said, I'm not very familiar with much about AEW. So good for them.
Yeah, that's why almost everyone jumped ship, and they were getting bigger names and stuff because they wanted all that, and that's why Cody is a piece of shit because like he ruined so much for everybody else. And he he gave like personal information, what people are making and stuff, over to Vince now. He's a fucking scumbag.
He really is. He's a traitor and a turncoat.
Yep.
Hail Glenzer, thank you for joining us. Hail the Sentinel. I want to address a couple of these comments here. So to each his own. Not a big fan of sobriety. To be honest, Papa Cotton, I'm not either. But so I feel you there. Alcohol isn't really the problem. It's the mentality that comes with a life that has made it with a life that has made that a good thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. You're right, Devin. It's never, you can't, it's like blaming the gun. You can't do that. It's the person using it. No.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just all things in moderation, which is something this country needs more of anyway. Everyone's always jumping off to the extremes on all sorts of different situations. Yeah. Jeff should use marijuana for pain relief, but there's something just destructive in him. And yeah, there is. Like it's reflected in his style. It's I don't know what happened to him, what his life was like, but I know he was wrestling at 16, so he couldn't have had the best parents. I mean, just being honest.
No normal person wants to do that to their body.
Yeah.
Like we're all a bit touched. We're all a bit touched in the head to be like, if you're a boxer, if you're like an MMA fighter, if you're a professional wrestler, we're all a bit touched in the head. We are. It's just, it's the nature of the fucking business. You've got something in you is a bit askewed in one way or another to want to do that to yourself. And I'm saying that full well knowing that puts me in that category, and I'm fine with that. I fucking own my demons. Trust me, and there's a lot of them. I fucking own them. But Jeff is, it is at this point, it's habit, it's a crutch, and it's pain. It's pain. Yeah. It is. His body, I guarantee you, he probably has the cartilage of an 80-year-old at this point.
Sure.
I mean, think about all the high impact moves and the matches, the ladder. It's
elbows, ankles, wrists, knees, hips,
ribs. I mean,
ribs. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, and this is all okay. So that we're not even talking about concussions. So at this point, I mean, you factor in all that because
well, he even mentions the concussion in that arrest video. Like, I guess he was going to the doctors for that,
dude.
And stuff too.
God, and I've never been that big of a Hardy fan, but it's fucking sad to see one of the boys, because he's one of the boys that's 44 years old. He's not that fucking old, really. By business standards, I mean, the top like 8 guys in all of professional wrestling right now are all 42 and above. And that's just the way it is. That's in AEW and the Fed. So Jeff, get help, get yourself taken care of, and the business will always be there as long as you're fucking healthy enough.
Definitely. So my sketchbook 340 says rehab don't work always because they don't target the lifestyle. It's why so many wrestlers turn Christian, because it remaps your outlook. It shows you that which is poisonous, and that's true. I mean, it doesn't really.
A lot of people were saying he needs to get in touch with DDP.
Yeah,
and do DDP yoga and do all
definitely.
that stuff.
It did so much for fucking Jake Roberts. I mean, dude, that man was,
because what it is too. It's part what do you call it, meditation, and it's connecting with more positive stuff anyway. But and I agree too with that statement. It is lifestyle, but it's also the person has to want to change. You can't just force them into stuff, and that's the other fucked up thing. They think, oh yeah, we can force him into it, otherwise, his contract is gone, and that's the incentive he needs. When that's not the case, and that's why a lot of these guys, they keep falling off the wagon because they never wanted to be on it to begin with. Then, like you said, the painkillers and everything else that they need to take or want to take, it's a fucked up cycle. Just like Tony, I know people, and even some of my family that they've had some abuse problems, substance abuse problems. It's fucked up. And there's one in particular that I know that no matter what you do, it's not going to change.
Yeah.
There's a narcissism behind it as well.
Yep.
I had an uncle who was a chief of police and was a complete alcoholic. I mean, it's a functioning alcoholic. You know what I mean? And his wife, my aunt, was the same way. Both of them were, and they got divorced. And when she got remarried, she hasn't had a drink in almost 20 fucking years
Good
now.
for her.
Nice.
You know, but she can be around, you know, at gatherings and shit. You know, we all drink. You know, it's not like we tiptoe around it, but she's fine with it. You know, and she just never went back to it. And yeah, and remembering her from the way she was when I was young to the way she is now, she's a completely different person, and it's awesome. You know, it really is. And that sobriety, that straight edge lifestyle, that works for some people. It really does. You know, if you can, like I said, man, if you can manage it, like Tony said, everything in moderation. If you can do that, you're good. If not, then you know, get your business handled. You know, take care of it. Don't let it ruin your life, because you only get one trip. You only get one trip, and there ain't no redos. You know.
All right. Well, we're about a half hour in, so
Sorry,
number
I'll
one
shut up.
super fan. Definitely, it is sad he fell into it again, and for all we know, he never really fell out of it. Yeah, thank you all for all your comments. I just want to get to this last one real quick. The Sentinel, remember all the AEW marks criticizing WWE for releasing him? He was released because he didn't want to go to rehab again, and probably, you know, I'm not as into the
he did make a statement when he was with them. Basically, they wanted him to go to rehab, and he's like, he didn't need it. But reports that I heard is they had him take a drug test and all that stuff, and he came up clean. So
he didn't want to go.
He didn't need to go because he was clean. Or at least that's, well, you know, what the results showed. But they released him before they even got the test results back. So it's like,
I remember hearing that. Yeah.
So I would be pissed at them too, like if they're gonna bullshit like that.
Yeah.
And that's well. Yeah. And that's well said, Judas Goat Barbecue. That's what you know, when they say people got to hit their rock bottom. I mean, the pain of using really has to outweigh the pleasure of using. And like, and you know, just being honest, I know that feeling from other things. So yeah, definitely. And it's a long road, and it's arduous, but it's well worth it, you know. And you can look back in so many years and just, I don't even want to say be proud of what, you know, getting off that road, but you're just thankful. Johnny Cage, hail to you, sir. Great to see you. He says, and if WWE actually cared about this, they wouldn't have the Usos on TV. Yeah, it's all, you know, they have time to fill, and sometimes they do do what's not best for the individual. In fact, most times they don't do what's best for the individual. In order to fill that time, they do what's best for WWE at the end of the day, and it's one reason it's not so good anymore. Just being honest. So let's go ahead and kick off the first week, November 4th, 1996. WCW Nitro is coming to you live from Grand Rapids, Michigan at the Van Andel Arena with a rating of 3.4, winning the week. They're at like, it's got to be 16, 17, 18 consecutive victories by now against WWF Raw. They are in Fort Wayne, Indiana, again at the War Memorial Coliseum, scoring a rating of 2.3. Now, I got to say, the audience has definitely grown. When this first started, what kind of ratings were they getting here?
In the twos and low to mid threes.
Yeah, they were. Well, I guess Rob was pulling. Nitro first pulled a 2.5, so yeah, but they were down in 1.9s a lot of the times, 2.3s. Let's November 20th, 1995, or in fact, let's go to November 6th, 1995, a year ago. Raw was pulling a 2.6, Nitro pulled a 2. Now you've got Nitro pulling a 3.4 and Raw pulling a 2.3. So we've added on some new viewers. The audience itself has grown a little bigger. And one thing about this week, I thought it was just like a one-time thing until I started watching the second episode. And yeah, this is where WWF moves back an hour. They start broadcasting from 7:57 p.m. till 9 p.m. instead of the 9 to 10 o'clock hours. So not Nitro kind of knocked them out of their spot. And now we're going to have these two shows going head to head in Nitro's first hour rather than their last. Which is funny because, like Draven and I were just saying, it feels like WWF is finally improving as a product. Is Nitro starting to get a little stale? Your WCW champions are as followed. WCW World Champion Hollywood Hogan, U.S. Champion still Ric Flair, even though he's out with an injury and Giants carrying it around. The tag team champions are the Outsiders. Your television champion, Lord Steven Regal, and the WCW Cruiserweight champion is Dean Malenko. Over on Raw, your champions, WWF champion is Shawn Michaels, Intercontinental Championship Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and your World Tag Team Champions, Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith. And it's funny because Shawn and Hunter ain't even fucking rolling together like that yet on screen, but they've got all the gold. They've got all the single titles. So, your announcers, we're going to go ahead and start with Raw since it's their first week at 8 o'clock. Your announcers for Monday Night Raw are Vince McMahon and Jerry the King Valkyrie. Raw begins outside of Brian Pillman's house, and get this, Tree Fucker, Kentucky. Walton, Kentucky is where Brian Pillman lives.
Damn.
And Kevin Kelly is on scene outside of the front of Brian Pillman's house and states that he will be conducting a live interview with Brian Pillman, and it's a tense situation as last week Austin threatened to show up. And just what's Pillman going to do if Austin does show up? He's laid out in a cast. His wife is there. They sent the children to go stay the night with some relatives. And Brian Pillman has some friends there, some extra protection. So we'll see what happens. Now, this first match is highlighting the Survivor Series match, the pay-per-view, but it's historic for another reason. First off, some pyro goes off in the arena, which is, I don't recall them having much pyro before on Raw. So it looks like they're kind of taking that from Nitro. They see it works over on Nitro for hour 1, hour 2. It adds a little something to the show. So we get some pyro, and then we get the Stalker Barry Windham with his Survivor Series teammates, Wildman Mark Merrow, obviously Sable with him, Mark Henry, and his first time really participating in anything on Raw, the Blue Chipper, Rocky Maivia, comes out with the Stalker Barry Windham. His opponent is Goldust, who's obviously with Marlena, also with his teammates Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Mr. Perfect, Crush, and Crush's boyfriend Clarence Mason. Yeah. And this match ends up going to a DQ because with that many opponents staring each other down, it was only a couple minutes before they ended up attacking each other. First time we saw any action from The Rock. And it's notable because what we did see from him is, number one, he almost fell off the top rope because everyone was wrestling in the ring and slamming into the ropes. But he did a flying crossbody off top rope, which I don't think I've ever seen The Rock do a flying crossbody off the top rope.
No.
Yeah.
Senator, I don't recall that.
So that was funny. He was definitely a Rudy Poo back then.
He's still a Rudy Poo. Now he's just a Rudy Poo Chinese candy ass.
Yeah.
Ching ching pow.
I asked on Facebook. I'm like, why does The Rock think everyone's ass is made of candy? It's just weird. So it's weird to call someone a candy ass. It's weird. I mean, if you really think about it.
It's almost like you're trying to hit on him in a crude way.
You don't have to think about it too much.
Candy ass. You put too much thought into it.
That body splash off the top rope looks so sloppy.
Yes.
I think they barely caught him too. That was like ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's because he probably trained with. I don't remember who he trained with, but I'm going to say Pat Patterson. So they didn't get a whole lot of training in.
Yeah.
I mean, what could he learn with?
It was all about candy ass. Sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, what could he learn with a thumb up his ass? I mean,
oh my.
Oh my.
I'm the first Intercontinental Champion. I'm gay. Yay.
Little Rock Horner sat in the corner with Pat Patterson's thumb up his ass.
So to hear I'm going to be in the Hall of
What did he
Fame
do
this
after he
year.
pulled his thumb out?
I don't know if I can say.
Okay.
So during the match, Stone Cold Steve Austin calls in because, well, he's heavily featured. He gets more time than anybody these days, which works for me. And he calls in. You can tell he's on the road, on the way to Pillman's house. And he's like, I told you last week I'd be here, and what I say comes true. He's the biggest star in the world, and no one's going to stop him. So basically, Vince asks him, well, why all the aggression, whatever. And he says, look, Pillman stole my interview time on WWF Superstars, so Pillman brought this upon himself. Then he says, Austin 2517 says he will strike down with vengeance upon your ass. And then he says he'll do whatever it takes to get his hands on Brian Pillman. So that's how Raw opens. A pretty
sounds like you missed him.
It's
I love these locks. I want to get my hands through that hair again. No one's gonna stop me.
Back then, it was probably filled with Aquanet. Actually, it was the 90s. It was LA looks then.
Yeah.
Jelly curl.
I mean, but still, considering the opening match was Barry Windham versus Goldust, this is about as well as it's gonna go. It was, it was a decent opening. So
I watched, I think, a little bit more than half of this. I didn't have time, but man, what I saw was so painful. Like it was bad. I did get I got up to the part where he did get to the house, and like that was all right for what it was. And then like the camera went, but the matches were shit.
Yeah, but I'm still, living through 1995. This is better than like King Mabel versus whoever, fucking Rhino before
that
he had
doesn't take much.
Anything's better than watching that fat sack of shit flubber around the ring like a big just sack of diabetes.
This time last year, he was so heavily featured. Just fucking Lizzo's father, just it's gross. So, yeah, Nitro starts off. Your hour one hosts are Tony Schiavone and Larry Zbyszko. WCW Nitro Live begins with Sting in the rafters looking down upon the arena as the Giant, Vincent, and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, are in the audience, staring up at the Stinger, and kind of made me wonder how many people in the audience are now dead. But Schiavone and Zbyszko wonder whose side Sting is on.
All of them.
What about the ones in the ring? I was watching that, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I'm like, oh my God, Vader's dead, Owen's dead, Bulldog's dead. The only survivor is Sid.
Yeah, no shit.
Sting's still alive.
Yeah.
Well, I just meant.
Oh, you mean on WWF?
Yeah, the match that I was watching, I was like, oh my God.
Everyone's dead. Yeah. I've lost track. Like, I forgot Vader died, but yeah, Vader's dead. So,
Yep.
Yeah, so Schiavone and Zbyszko wonder whose side Sting is on, and we're going to get to that in a bit, because isn't that the very fucking reason Sting left in the first place, was because y'all were questioning his motives? But yeah, we pan over to the
They mentioned that on
in the second
two.
episode. Yeah. So we pan over to the commentator's booth, and the new WCW Women's title is on display. Tournament will begin tonight to crown the first WCW Women's Champion, and Bischoff will not be at Nitro tonight as he flew to Portland to sign Roddy Piper in a match against Hollywood Hogan. And throughout this episode, Hogan versus Piper will be the main selling point. Problem with this episode, I'm going to get it right off the bat, is it's very similar to last week's Nitro. Like, if you saw last week's Nitro, you kind of saw this week's Nitro with very, very subtle differences. Kind of reminds me of what they did with the NWO at first. They gave you just a little bit and then pulled back for a month and gave you like nothing or little trickles. And it's like, maybe it's just my 2022 mentality, but you know, and the fact that I'm not like, whoa, Piper's in WCW, because I know it happens, but it's like, yeah, they really they're teasing the audience right now, and it doesn't leave much in terms of excitement. So the night begins with Marcus Bagwell with Scotty Riggs versus Brad Armstrong. Marcus Bagwell does defeat Brad Armstrong via crossbody block in about 7.5 minutes. Yeah, and that was the beginning of Nitro. So Marcus Bagwell versus Scotty Riggs, and when you consider everything kind of going on WWF Raw, I mean,
see, you've already got the luchadors. Why don't you come out with them? Like,
yeah.
you put these two, because Bagwell's a competent worker, and actually so's Armstrong, but he just never got over because he never had a gimmick really that worked for him.
And why break up the American males right when they got back together?
Yeah, it didn't make it. That made no sense. This is a 2-spot match. You know, I'd put a faster paced match in the 1 spot, put this in the 2, so they're already kind of hot for it. And if these guys can do anything in the ring, the crowd won't be sitting on their hands and they'll still get a decent pop.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, kind of a smaller intro to Nitro, and maybe they're just kind of filling out what WWF is doing on their first 8 to 9 episode. Now that they're competing in that first hour, but we then go back over to WWF, and I gotta say, WWF is really packing a lot into this hour. We look at footage from a house show where Paul Bearer, Mankind, and the Executioner are cutting a promo on The Undertaker in preparation for Mankind and Undertaker's cage match at Survivor Series. During the promo, the bell tolls and The Undertaker's voice is heard throughout the arena. He speaks to Paul Bearer and says that at Survivor Series, this is what he has in store for his former manager. And there's something in the entrance ramp, you know, kind of covered in a black cloth. So they send the Executioner out there to, you know, find out what it is. And he pulls the cloth off, and it's a cage. It's like a personal, like individual cage, and there's a dummy of Paul Bearer hanging upside down from inside of the cage. So
I thought the dummy was the Executioner. Sorry. What a stupid gimmick that was.
Oh, it's horrible. It's I forgot about him, to be honest, and yeah.
It was pretty stupid.
No impact. So we check in with Brian Pillman and Melanie. Rest in peace, Melanie. She just passed 2 weeks ago now. So rest in peace to you, ma'am. Kevin Kelly, again says it's a tense scene, and he asks Brian Pillman for a prognosis on his ankle. Pillman says that he's alive and well, but he wants to talk about Steve Austin's prognosis. Pillman's been in many feuds, but Austin crossed the line and made this personal. Vince interjects and mentions that Austin is circling the neighborhood. Vince brings up Pillman's vulnerability, but Pillman says Austin's the one that's vulnerable. They used to be best friends, and he knows Austin's weaknesses. So when Austin 316 meets Pillman 9mm, he pulls out the pistol and cocks it. Pillman says he's a dead man walking, and yeah, very, very, very iconic scene. So a voice in the background yells that Austin's outside right as we go to commercial. Back over on Nitro, Diamond Dallas Page defeats Ice Train via the Diamond Cutter in 6 minutes, 34 seconds. So during the match, Ice Train throws DDP over the top ropes. Nick Patrick gets out to check on Page, his back turned. Couldn't have seen it. He's in a neck brace, you guys. And while he's out there paying attention to Page, the Outsiders run into the ring and start assaulting Ice Train. They're whipping him with their tag titles. Probably wouldn't go down well today, but whatever. It's the 90s. So they whip the black man with their tag titles, and Ice Train absorbed most of the punishment because by the time the Outsiders were forced to jump out of the ring before they were caught, Train was calling him back, like, let's go, motherfuckers, but he was distracted and Page hit him with the Diamond Cutter. So now, we're wondering where Sting's loyalties lie, but now we're starting to wonder about Diamond Dallas Page, too, who's just really starting to get over naturally. Like, the fans have been giving him some big reactions lately. They've been reacting to the Diamond Cutter, and it's a positive reaction. So now we got to...
It's like they've been scouting DDP over in the NWO.
Exactly. And we'll get in more into that. The storyline takes a big turn on this second week in Nitro. I like what they did there.
Yeah.
So, back from the commercial over on WWF, Austin is outside kicking Pillman's friends' asses, throwing trash cans at them. He slams one of their heads in a car door. There's a little, mini fill-up pool out there, and he fucking kicks one guy's ass into there. Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So he goes
he put his head in the door.
Yeah. God.
That's what you get for getting in my way.
Don't mess with me, son. It's funny because he's just starting this gimmick, It's only 6 months old or whatever, 9 months old or something. So when he's talking, a lot of the times he sounds like my friend's impersonating him. Like, hell yeah, son. And he sounds like an impersonation of Steve Austin right now.
Yeah, he didn't quite embrace it yet. So yeah, it's very soft.
This is smart, though. I get where they got the idea for this from, though, because they're trying to make him the motivation for Stone Cold was a serial killer or a murderer. And it's well, what would a fucking... It's kind of serial killish what happens tonight. Him trying to fucking get in this dude's house and...
Right.
Yeah.
Crush is probably very crushed at this point. He's like, I'm supposed to be the crazy one from jail.
Oh, that'll teach him.
Yes. So Austin tries to get into Pillman's house, and the front doors are locked. So the camera pans over, shines Pillman's address and everything on fucking national TV. I was thinking, man, that wouldn't happen in the days of the internet. But then we've got this bald, crazy guy trying to break into Brian Pillman's house. But we better get back to the arena, everyone, because the Sultan is wrestling the Pug, Alex Porto.
How dare you speak ill of the 18-time Transcontinental Champion, Alex Porto, the man that out-suplexed Scott Steiner, out-submission Taz, and out-chokeslammed the Giant.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar, Suplex
Legend.
City. It's that's cool, that's Cincinnati or something, but Porto's Suplex City is New York City,
Have you ever been to Pug?
Garden.
Have you ever been to... You've been to Suplex City. Have you ever been to Pug's Port? Yeah, I don't think so. You wouldn't last 5 minutes, Cupcake.
Like Pug's porch.
So Yeah, Alex Porto loses to Muslim Rikishi in about
That's
2 minutes,
bullshit.
9 seconds.
It's
Yeah.
bullshit. It's racist.
Camel clutch. Yep.
Sweeping his leg.
It's like, what kind of father were you? Your kids are fucking alcoholics, Rikishi. You fucking asshole.
He was putting his ass in their face.
Yeah.
But
Like, we'd all be drinking.
McMahon's
So.
like,
Apparently, he used to eat rice
more.
or like, was it chicken fried rice like before everything? So yeah.
Jesus. So.
I met Rikishi too many times. I never really talked to him. I just seen him in passing. I seen him sitting there with no lines. And I'm like, boy, I just feel sad for him.
I'm the guy that fell off the Hell in a Cell into a fucking thing of hay and was visibly shaken the entire time.
I did it. I did it for The Rock.
That was like, that ruined his career. Like, he was a good mid-card act. He finally got over, and then they made, that was it's like, we're gonna find out who ran Austin over. And then Rikishi comes out like, Vince, that was never gonna be good. I hate that storyline. It's like,
I remember
when you don't
that
play
shit.
when you don't play the closing note, like the end note in a song or a melody, it can really bug you. And that's what that fucking entire storyline was. And I was at No Way Out 2001.
It didn't go anywhere after that, did it? I don't even think it did. It died after that.
Triple H had to take over. Triple H had to take over and be like, well, I was the man behind the man, you know?
Oh, gotcha.
And to have Austin be out for a year with an injury, your hottest fucking star, and then come back. I mean, fans were on the edge of their seat for a year waiting for this guy to come back. And yeah, we like The Rock too. And there are people that like The Rock more than Austin. And I get that. But the majority of fans wanted Austin back. And then and that's why the heel turn didn't work. But he comes back, proceeds to get his ass fucking the shit kicked out of him and busted open and bloody on every fucking Raw till February 2001. From what was this, like August 2000? Triple H reveals it's him, whatever, in November, December, all the way to fucking February 2001. You get a 3 stages of hell match, and Triple H beats him in 2 out of the 3 matches clean. Like, what kind of resolution is that? Like, we waited a year for him to come back. And they're like, well, we wanted to make him insecure for his heel turn. It's just, they fucked that whole thing up. And then what do? Make him a heel and take the guy who's been the face of the WWF for the past 3 or 4 years and have him go over to WCW. It was so stupid. Yeah. They did not handle him right since he came back from his injury. And, you know, it really started with that storyline, and it bugs the shit out of me.
Well, that's like in same with the Invasion. Like, they turned like half the WWF roster WCW because they were part of ECW at one point. Like, and I feel like that's why they made Austin like the heel, because he used to be in WCW and
but Big Show was there fucking before Austin was. Big Show could have been in. Like, it's just so bad how they did
it. Made no sense.
It didn't make sense.
The booking was horrible for that.
Chris Jericho could have been in W. Like, anyway. So bad. So over on Nitro, I feel bad because this is kind of a Raw heavy episode. You know, like, Raw had a lot going on. There's not much to say about Nitro. We had the Sultan defeating Alex Porto, and then we go over to Nitro, and now we had Bagwell earlier wrestle in a singles match. Now we have WCW Cruiserweight Champion Dean Malenko wrestling Scotty Riggs, who's with his tag partner Marcus Bagwell, and Dean Malenko defeats Scotty Riggs with an Oklahoma roll. So back over to Pillman's house in WWF. Austin breaks the glass out of the kitchen door, and Pillman's aiming the gun, and Austin's coming in, and all hell's breaking loose and chaos, and then the satellite feed cuts out, of course. So they're like, what the hell is going on? You know, the feed cut out. What's going on in Walton right now? Like, big old thing. But Jim Ross is in the ring, and he welcomes Psycho Sid and HBK out for an interview to hype their title match at Survivor Series. JR brings up Sid and Michaels' past when they were at odds. They showed some like clips from 1995 of Sid powerbombing HBK, but you know, HBK ends up saying, "Oh, that's the past, and I'm the one who went and got Sid out of the loony bin to bring him back to the WWF." Some more edge from WWF. Sid yells, "That's bullshit!" Like, nice. We're cussing now. Slowly working our way to attitude. But HBK is like, you know it's true. You know where I went and got you from, and they have to coexist next week because they're going to be challenging Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith for the tag team championship. Jim Ross asks why Sid hit HBK last week. Sid calls Jim Ross a fatso and that was a mistake. I thought you would have gotten a kick out of that, Vinny. He's all, "Shut up, fatso." He's such a child. Sid is such a child.
Yeah.
I haven't called someone a fatso since I was like fucking 9 years old. Like,
yeah. Well, don't forget, he came from the crazy ward, remember?
That's pretty. That's pretty.
I have half the brains that you do.
Quit stabbing me with the scissors, fatso.
See, and what Etep was saying earlier, he's like, they have it so rough, and then the second they actually could make some money, you have Arn Anderson getting so jealous that he stabs you. It's ridiculous.
Right? Like, and then all your funds are diverted towards hospital bills and rehab because some crazy vet stabbed you.
Arn
because
Anderson,
you're more over.
I'm sorry, but he wouldn't have even gotten this far without Ric Flair by his side. I'm sorry, but...
No.
Yeah. So there's just nothing really... He's a tough guy, but he doesn't look cool, I guess, and yeah. So, Jose Lothario is out there with
boy,
Shawn Michaels. So yeah, he starts going nuts. Sid starts flipping out, and Jose Lothario like tries, honestly, to go over there and kind of calm him down. And Sid pushes Jose. Now that's the fucking line right there. There's a little podium in between Shawn and Sid, and Shawn like knocks the fucking podium over. It's cheap, and the whole thing just collapses. And Sid and Shawn get in each other's faces. Then here comes Cornette with his merry band of assholes. Owen, Vader, and me title shot get in the ring and start attacking Sid and Michaels. But Owen Hart comes in the ring with the chair. He smacks Sid with it. Then he goes for Michaels. Michaels gets the chair away from him, chases the heels out of the ring, and then all Sid knows is he got hit with a chair, and he turns around and there's HBK standing with the chair. So Sid's like, "What the fuck would you hit me with the chair for?" And push Shawn. Shawn pushes him back. They're about to go at it, and the bad guys run back in the ring again. So they rubbed each other's legs until their hair turned blonde and got the heels out of the ring. Then they started to go at it again, and WWF officials ran into the ring to break the two up before it could get real physical. Then before we go to commercial, Vince is like, "We've got the feedback in Walton, Kentucky. We've got the feedback." So we go over and they literally just replay the last scene again. He was like, "Well, the feed isn't up yet, but that's what happened a little while ago," after screaming that the feed was back. Don't know what was up with that. Over on Nitro, we look at footage of Benoit defeating Guerrero last week with help from Steve Mongo McMichael and the Halliburton. Because of this, Eddie can't compete this week, so his uncle Hector is going to fight on behalf of Eddie. God, Hector Guerrero looks like they resemble each other so much. Eddie Guerrero and Hector. Yeah. So, Also, Ric Flair, the commentators mentioned Ric Flair went through surgery yesterday, and we're going to hear a little about him next week. So we have Chris Benoit versus Hector Guerrero. Chris Benoit does defeat Hector via roll-up after some chain wrestling, and then woman interferes and distracts Hector, and that allows Benoit to roll him up and put his feet on the ropes for the win. So, good match. That chain did you see that, Draven, when they were they did that chain motion of rolling each other up and kept rolling over the other one, and
yep,
cool stuff. So, good match. Now it's time for your Raw main event. Fake Razor Ramon versus the Wild Man Mark Merrow. I don't think Mark Merrow's getting much of a push anymore. Because he doesn't win this one versus Fake Razor Ramon. Like what what did he do? Because you were pushing him and Austin like similar. Like they came in at the same time and they were both getting wins and looking good. He gave one the King of the Ring, won the Intercontinental title, and then something happened because Vince took that Intercontinental title off of Mark Merrow pretty quick, and since then he's just been jobbing out to everybody, including Fake Razor Ramon.
Must have pissed somebody off.
Yeah. So, and he had the advantage in this one. Mark Merrow did. He jumps up on the top rope, and out come Triple H and Mr. Perfect. Believe Triple H and Merrow were having a match at the Survivor Series, and Triple H pushes Mark Merrow off of the top rope, leaving him vulnerable to the Fake Razor's Edge. We go over to Pillman's house because now the feed is back, and Brian Pillman is going nuts. There's utter fucking chaos going on in the house. People are yelling. Austin is missing, but nobody was shot. Then Austin, and I think like in the last one before the feed cut off, there was the gunshot, but they edited that out of the Peacock version. So they keep saying nobody was shot, and nobody was hit by any projectiles, and everything's going nuts. And then Austin returns, and Pillman's friends are trying to hold him back, but Pillman's like, let him go so I can shoot the son of a bitch. And everything's going nuts as fucking Raw goes off the air. So, pivotal episode of Raw. Probably, like Vinny was saying, a little, corny by today's standards. But I mean, back then, you gotta admit, if fucking Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns were in a feud and fucking Brock shows up to Roman's house and guns are getting drawn and shit, you'd be like,
no, don't get me wrong. I thought the Austin stuff going to the house was kind of fun. No, I said the in-ring shit was bad.
Yeah. You didn't like Sultan versus the Pug?
No.
They said I'm Sultan. That was bullshit.
What did he say, Vinny? Since you speak fat.
I'm laughing too hard here. Because I was looking at the screen when he started doing it.
I said, look, they made a mistake of booking by not to put it over on the start, and that was bullshit. Shouldn't have happened that way.
Brian, finish chewing first and then use your words.
I am. What do you think I'm chewing? What do you think I'm chewing at? I'm just talking. How far behind the sentence come over here? You wasn't talking.
My eyes are tearing.
Oh, God.
That's like I'm at a family gathering in New York again.
These patrons are making me thirsty.
What?
I couldn't even get that one.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just growling over. It's okay.
At this point, I don't know. Something.
you were like 50% there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Holy
fun-filled Raw, ladies and gentlemen. And the only thing it was missing was Brian last on commentary.
I could have done it much better than you, man.
All right. Sure.
Your second hour. Your second hour Nitro host, because Eric Bischoff is in Portland. It's Tony Schiavone, Mike Tenay, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. God, I just don't care about much that Jarrett's involved in. We see the Giant cutting a promo on Jarrett from last week. I do like that he gets put in his fucking place this week, though. He cuts a promo on Jarrett, and then we have Mike Tenay up on the entryway interviewing Jeff Jarrett and asks about the Horsemen not being at full strength heading into War Games now that both Flair and Arn Anderson are out with injuries. Double J calls himself, he's all, as the lead Horseman, and about a second later, here comes Benoit and Steve Mongo McMichael, and Benoit's like, look, any business pertaining to the Horsemen, you need to ask the Horseman, not this guy. Fucking, they kind of take Jeff Jarrett's promo, push him off to the side, and they don't like Double J. They don't like Jeff Jarrett walking in the door and claiming to be a Horseman. They don't care if Ric Flair came out with them for a match or anything. Yeah, it's just, not cool. So
they really took the piss out of Double J, didn't they?
Yeah. So, fucking Steve Mongo McMichael says, as far as he's concerned, this Horseman promo is over. They walk back to the back, and Jeff Jarrett gets on the mic again and talks about being the leader of WCW to lead them against the NWO while the camera's panning over to Sting. Sting's just staring at Jarrett, fucking just staring at him. So Jarrett says, well, Sting isn't even in the game, and last time he was, Sting fumbled the ball. Like me, everybody, not Sting. But, yeah. So we go over to the ring, the first round match for the WCW Women's title. This tournament kicks off with Medusa defeating Reina Jabuka, which, if I'm not mistaken, either her or someone in the first round match, one of these women wrestles under two different gimmicks, and one of those, and one of those gimmicks will, and I'm pretty sure it's Reina Jabuka. Medusa defeats Reina Jabuka, but she'll also face the same girl under a different gimmick in the finals of this, because they don't have any women. Half their women, more than half, they're getting from fucking Japan, and they're not WCW wrestlers anyway. Reina Jabuka was escorted with Sonny Ono, by the way, and she was defeated via a German suplex bridge. We also have Jericho defeating M. Wall Street with an inside cradle. And then we get the same promo from last week. Mike Tenay interviews Chris Jericho, Nick Patrick, Nick Patrick's lawyer, Teddy Long comes out. And it's the same, other than the lawyer saying Jericho's father was an NHL goon, it was the same fucking promo from last week. And because it was weird seeing Jericho out there with Teddy Long and Nick Patrick when Nick Patrick supposedly has beef with Macho Man. And it was just really weird. And we did the same thing again. So, yeah, whatever. Now, I like this main event. Speaking of splitting up tag teams, and I think Stevie Ray isn't injured. Never mind. We get Lex Luger versus Booker T. Pretty sure this is their second match. They main evented last week's Nitro. Pretty good match. You know, I may not have seen it at the time, but Booker looks like he's ready to carry his show. He looks like he can be in the main event. And, him and Luger wrestled a good match. This week, Booker has the match won. He hits, like his side scissor kick or whatever that is that he does. He had
the Harlem Axe kick.
Yeah, like the axe kick. He gave Luger a run for his money and had him on the ground and was ready to take it home. He was ready to finish the match. But Colonel Parker comes out, who's been distracting Booker lately in their tag matches and costing him matches and getting into beef with other people at ringside, and goes to run away from him and trips over Booker in the ring. And, Colonel Parker's been fucking up lately. And again, he distracts Booker, allowing Lexi to take advantage while this is going on, and Luger wins the match. Sting is watching his former best friend from the rafters. So, and Luger's been on quite a streak lately, to be honest. But the commentators then take over the show for the last few minutes. Bischoff calls in. He says he'd like to get a match signed with Piper versus Hogan. You're like waiting all night to hear what's going on with Piper and Hogan. Bischoff says he's trying to get a match signed, but Piper's management team is holding things up, stonewalling the match from becoming official. Next Tuesday, they have a meeting. Hopefully they'll have better news then. Then we look at the Halloween Havoc promo. Last week, they cut off the Halloween Havoc promo like halfway through during the pay-per-view. And they're like, you're going to get to see everything you didn't get to see from the pay-per-view unedited. And you're like, cool. And then they waste time showing the intro, Piper's intro, and just everything you did see from the pay-per-view, except less they showed on Nitro instead of the parts you didn't see. So that was a waste of time last week. Then Hogan came out, said a few words, and flexed for the crowd, and that's how Nitro went off. Well, this week, we look at the fucking same thing again. They don't show the parts you didn't see again. Any of that. They show the same parts of the promo again. And then out comes Hogan again with the Giant and fucking Ted DiBiase. Says a couple words. Piper's scared. I'm Hollywood. Everyone wants me in their movies. Shine the spotlight on me. And flexes, and Nitro goes off the air. So that's what I mean. Like, you didn't miss much if you saw last week's episode. Why they keep showing the same part of this promo instead of all the parts everyone who wasn't in the arena? Why they keep showing the same thing? I don't know. But it's not very smart.
I did notice they were like just recapping a lot of shit and then don't give you any extra of the recap that we didn't see.
Last week, they're like, ladies and gentlemen, the parts of the promo you didn't get to see, we're going to show. And then they just show part of what you would see. And then they said, well, we had to cut it off because of time constraints. It's like, yeah, that's why you had to cut off the promo with the pay-per-view. And why you promised to show us everything we didn't see tonight because of time constraints. And now, at Halloween Havoc, the next night on Nitro, and now a week later on Nitro, we've seen the same fucking thing.
And they like are making it like, obviously Piper came back and he's like gunning for Hogan, but they're like spinning it to make it seem like he can't like face him because of obligations or all that shit. It's like, obviously he wanted to face him because if he didn't, he wouldn't have fucking showed up to begin with. So it's like, what the fuck?
And Glenzer, just so you know, the original idea with Colonel Robert Parker was that he was supposed to have won Booker T and Stevie Ray in a poker game, and they were going to come out in shackles. And I'm not lying. Like, they were going to be, he was going to be like a plantation owner. Who came up with that idea? I don't know. That was like 1993, 1994 WCW. But that was going to be the plan, was Colonel Robert Parker won Harlem Heat in a poker game. And he'd like lead them down to the ring to fucking wrestle in shackles. Like straight Mandingo. Like,
what the fuck?
Kevin Sullivan, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Holy shiatsu.
Cheez-Its? What kind of Cheez-Its? Just plain?
These are just the regular ones. Trey ate all my Parmesan ones.
You sound like Brian last. What happened?
I know, right? That's why we couldn't understand you eating Cheez-Its.
I'm trying to chill my inner man.
So, originally, they were supposed to be a pair of wrestling slaves, one in a card game by manager Colonel Robert Parker, but was changed due to racial sensitivity based on their look, coming out to the ring in wrist and foot shackles. Now, do you really think that would have been racially insensitive? I mean, I wouldn't have even, we had already bought the costumes, and then we realized, maybe this is wrong.
This is not the good idea we thought it was.
So, fuck you, Colonel Robert Parker.
Who pitched?
I thought the whole thing with him and Sherry was dumb.
12 years of Harlem Heat. Who pitched that in the creative meeting was like, hey, I've got a great idea. So we got this great tag team, right? They're brothers. Well, like, do you mean they're actually brothers or are they brothers? No. They're brothers and brothers. Oh, okay. Well, what should we do with them? How should we package them? I got an idea. Yeah, go ahead. We're going to make them slaves. All right, you're fucking fired.
Like, someone put on an NWA CD, please. So, yeah. That was the end of Nitro. A little underwhelming. Because, again, it's literally the same ending as last week. The same ending as last week. And I don't know if this next week's ending of the show is going to be much better, but let's jump into it. So, the week of November 11th, 1996, we've got, I forgot to hold on real quick. We've got WCW Monday Nitro coming to you live from St. Petersburg, Florida, the Bayfront Center. Monday Night Raw, they're still coming to you from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the War Memorial Coliseum. All the champions are the same. You've got Raw's champions, WWF champion Shawn Michaels, and our Continental champion Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and World Tag Team champions Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith. Over on Nitro, you've got World Heavyweight champion Hulk Hogan, U.S. champion Flair, tag champions The Outsiders, television champion Lord Steven Regal, who we're not seeing enough of on Nitro because we have to see Scotty Riggs in single matches, and WCW Cruiserweight Champion Dean Malenko. Now, speaking of Raw's tag team champions, that's how the night starts. Your hosts for tonight are Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler. And the tag team championship is on the line is Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith with Clarence Mason defend against Psycho Sid and Shawn Michaels with Jose Lothario.
Damn,
anything can happen. Yeah, anything can happen when Jose is on the screen, motherfuckers. So, the champions, British Bulldog and Owen Hart, defeat Sid and WWF champion Shawn Michaels when basically Sid goes to powerbomb Bulldog. Bulldog escapes out of it, kind of pushes Sid back into the turnbuckle. So you've got Shawn Michaels on like the northwest turnbuckle. You've got Sid on the southeast turnbuckle, and Davey Boy Smith sitting in the middle of the ring. So they, one's in front of British Bulldog, one's in the back. Shawn's in front of him, of course, goes to super kick the British Bulldog while Sid starts approaching Bulldog from the back. Why was Sid approaching Bulldog other than to get super kicked? I don't know, but it was like Sid walked right into Shawn Michaels' kick, and it was a really weird spot. But yeah, Shawn Michaels goes to super kick Bulldog. Bulldog dodges, and the super kick hits Sid. Just weird, I've never seen anyone else try to approach the opponent from the back while Shawn's going to super kick them. Never seen that again, just this once, but he also has half the brain that we do, so I don't know. But yeah, so he super kicks fucking Psycho Sid. Big deal. Survivor Series is this Sunday, so this is part of your go home hype for the title match. Then we go to Steve Austin, who had a backstage promo. He won't apologize for last week. He's going to keep raising the heat higher and higher and higher. And he and Brett don't need to wait for Survivor Series. He's main eventing tonight against Bob Holly, the spark plug. And when he's done sparking the plug, he's going to go backstage, find Bret Hart, and they're going to settle their shit tonight. So that's how Raw starts. Nitro begins. You've got Shivani and Sabisco as your hosts in hour one. And they start questioning Sting's motives again and hyping up a possible Hogan versus Roddy Piper match at some point here in the future. They also begin talking about the tension between Jeff Jarrett and the Horsemen, Benoit and Steve Mongo McMichael to be specific, and they showed the clip from last week of Jarrett calling himself the lead horseman. And that takes us into our first match, Chris Benoit versus Jeff Jarrett. One of the best parts of the night, in my opinion. What do you think, Draven?
Oh, yeah. It was good.
So, Jarrett ends up vertical suplexing Benoit over the top rope and out of the ring. Cool spot. The crowd was really digging it. So then Jeff Jarrett goes to fucking flaunt and do his strut and everything.
Yeah.
And for the first time since he really adopted this gimmick, Sting walks into the fucking ring behind an oblivious Jeff Jarrett, and Scorpion Death drops the fuck out of him. Right in front of the ref is just watching, and Sting don't give a fuck. Walks in, reverse DDTs Jarrett. Massive pop from the crowd. Massive pop from the crowd. And we're supposed to think maybe he's NWO at this point, but Sting's the franchise, you know?
Yep.
And he hasn't done anything in a while.
Yeah. Fucking nails Jeff Jarrett. Benoit staring from outside like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Sting looks at Benoit for a minute, turns around, walks out of the ring and back up the ramp.
Yeah, the only thing Sting has been doing is watching Luger and his matches.
And different parts of the show. They'll show him.
Too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the main thing he's been doing. You know, if Luger's on screen, it's going to show Sting at some point. So, yeah, so Benoit gets back in the ring. Woman is telling him, and you hear it through the camera. It's not like on a microphone or anything. Woman saying, we don't know where Sting's loyalties lie, but we know Jeff Jarrett is WCW, so go help him up. And Benoit's reluctant to do so, but he does. And you think he's going to attack Jeff Jarrett at first because he lifts Jarrett up by like his hair, right? And you're waiting for the attack, but Benoit just doesn't do it, and he backs off. He's saving it for Woman later. Yeah. And that's where we go to our first commercial break for Nitro. Over on Raw, Kevin Kelly is backstage. He says he's going to get a word with both Sean and Sid tonight to update us on the status of their friendship heading into Survivor Series. And we go over to Doc Hendricks, who basically he runs down the card for what Survivor Series is so far. We have the first Survivor Series elimination match. Doug Furnace, Phil LaFon, and the Godwins. I don't even know who those first two guys are. Doug Furnace and Phil LaFon.
They were big in the Northeast in the in like the 80s and 90s. They were mostly on the independent scene. They wrestled some in ECW. Individually, actually decent workers, and this is a shoot. Like decent workers, and they did job spots on bigger shows like this.
We need Doug fucking Furnace. Yeah, so Doug Furnace, Phil LaFon, and the Godwins versus Owen Hart, Davey Boy Smith, and the New Rockers, the Alex Porto of tag teams, if you will. Then we have our second Survivor Series match, the one we're more familiar with, as they've been like hyping it a little more on TV. No, that ain't yet. We've got a second Survivor Series match: Savio Vega, Yokozuna, Flash Funk, and a mystery partner, versus Farouk, Vader, Fake Razor, and Fake Diesel. So then the third Survivor Series elimination match is the one we've hyped a little more on TV. The Stalker, Mark Marrow, Mark Henry, and Rocky Maivia versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Crush, Goldust, and Jerry the King Valkyrie. Then we have Paul Bearer in a cage match. The Undertaker versus Mankind. We've also got Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. And we've got the WWF Championship. Psycho Sid challenging Shawn Michaels for the big one. So I'd say this is a little lopsided. Like, sometimes a Survivor Series match can be fun depending on the context. And I'd rather, if we're going to watch like an fucking 8-man tag, I'd rather it be elimination because it's just more interesting. You know, it can end up real, lopsided 1 versus 3 or 4, So that's always kind of interesting, but there's just not much to care about in those elimination matches.
Mm-hmm.
So, the most, you're going to get out of this is The Rock's debut, and we all know it's not received very well.
Because they want to force him as a babyface.
Yeah. Yep. They're giving him the Roman Reigns treatment. And now The Undertaker, we haven't seen him since Buried Alive, so that's nice that he'll be coming back. And this is the first time it's like he's winning the psychological game against Mankind and Paul Bearer. Like, he's been going into these matches looking a little weak and then losing them, But now it's like, now it's time. You will rest in peace. And he's, gloves are off. He's tired of the bullshit, So I got a good feeling Taker's going to win this one without, like, going and reading the results.
Yeah, same.
Bret Hart versus Stone Cold, which is, this match makes the card for me. That's why I'm going to watch this. And then we have Psycho Sid versus Shawn Michaels in a pivotal match that'll help form WrestleMania 13. So, yeah, Survivor Series, baby. Then we go back over to Kevin Kelly. He's outside of Sid's dressing room where it sounds like Sid is throwing shit at the door and throwing shit around. He's mad, and Kevin Kelly says that Sid has a ton on his mind and that he's going to tell us here coming up later in the show. So we've got Mankind with Paul Bearer and the Executioner. He defeats Freddie Fentos Floyd via the Mandible Claw. Freddie Joe Floyd, sorry. Yeah,
that Executioner thing is so dumb.
It's awful.
It's not even like menacing. It'd be one thing if it was like done right and it looked menacing or like, intimidating. But he just looks like a fucking goofball.
Yeah, he looks like something, but it's definitely not cool, not intimidating. It's like almost peak Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a dollar store costume.
Yeah.
That's the difference between, okay, well, I'm not going by Mace the Mauler. I'm going to come up with Stone Cold Steve Austin versus someone who didn't come up with anything. They just, okay, whatever you say. Well, you're going to be the fucking Executioner then. Mick Foley, he saw some of the worst names he had ever seen, and then he came up with Mankind.
And
Vince hated Mankind. He hated that name.
You know who the Executioner was, right?
No.
I remember we were talking about it, but I don't remember offhand. But
Terry Bam Bam Gordy.
Yeah, okay.
From the Freebirds.
Doc Hendricks is jealous. Why can't I wrestle no more?
But I want to be the other executioner.
But Mankind's a horrible name.
Yeah, Vince hated the name Mankind. And he hated the gimmick, too. Until it
started drawing money.
The JR Mankind, promos.
They could have done something like this. And it would have been a lot more intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And just fucking, went with it. And just go as dark as possible.
I mean, look at the Warlord and the Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all they did was paint their faces.
Yep.
And those two are bad as hell. I mean, all you have to do is look the part. I mean, this dude did not actually. Terry Gordy was a guy, he was a big barrel-chested dude that you would see sitting at the end of a bar stool drinking a beer. You know.
Yeah.
The gimmick for him was just stupid, you know.
What's up, Brutal Morningwood? What's up, Manliness and Motivation?
Hello.
Yeah, Superfan says another Floyd that couldn't breathe. Glinzer says he thought Executioner was Cecil's dad. Same mess.
Oh, that's a cash grab.
Yeah, I love.
That was Dom DeLuise in Cannibal Run.
There was nothing better to me again than when Mankind was screaming at that poor fucking rat.
The rat.
Because that rat, I mean, it does have thoughts as a survival instinct. It had to be like, I'm going to die right here. You know, it doesn't understand the context of TV. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. He's just sees this big fucking thing ripping chunks of his own hair out and screaming at you like, Jesus, I'm going to die tonight.
That was brilliant.
So,
right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip my own hair off. Why didn't you love me, mommy?
You got issues, dude. You shouldn't be wrestling. You need to fucking Reagan shutting down the loony bin. Just goddamn.
So even something like that, because it kind of gets with the same look as what they had, but they could have done it, and it would at least look decent.
Yeah, agreed. And there's some bad decisions made in the Attitude Era as well. It's just most of it was compelling.
Well, a lot of it was overshadowed by the good shit.
Yep. Beaver cleavage.
Yeah, them giving birth to a hand.
Yeah.
That shit's dumb.
Yes.
Just a bit.
Get the trash can and go over. Get on the leg up.
Bear down. You got to have that baby. Come on now, relax.
Okay. Come on, baby. Excuse me.
Take that thing out of your mouth. Please behave.
Are you sure?
No.
You want to try this, Doc? Oh my God!
It wasn't made for him.
I forgot about the fart.
The stuff that they got away with.
I know. I want to know who came up with that at the fucking creative meeting, because they write themselves into this corner. Okay, Mae Young's pregnant. What are we going to do with this?
They are.
Well, what about a hand?
And then we put barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, Mankind defeats Freddie Joe Floyd with the mandible claw, the mandible knee, whatever. Fantos.
The breath taker.
And yeah. He's celebrating in the ring. It's playing the happy Mankind music, and then the bell tolls again. And again, Taker hasn't been seen since Buried Alive. Tonight's no different, but we do hear his voice again. And he says, "Creatures of the night, this Sunday, a new age of darkness begins. At the Survivor Series, the only thing to expect is the unexpected." And the cage from last week with the Paul Bearer dummy lowers this time, like an actual cage would, but it's a smaller individual one. It just lowers into fucking ringside area. And Taker says this is only the beginning of pallbearer's torment. Mankind starts like charging the cage and like, you know, like shoulder blocking the cage, I guess, and attacking the cage, and pallbearer's next to the cage screaming never in his voice. We then yeah, never. I wish I could do a better pallbearer, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you gotta get into it. That's the thing.
Yeah. Then we get a hype package for Rocky Maivia's debut. And goddamn, this dude couldn't cut a promo worth of shit yet. Like, he kept repeating the same words. He's like, yeah, I'm just ready right now. If you could do it right now, I do it right now. I'm 110%, which means I'm 110% ready for this match. I'm 110% ready to win. Like, and it's not a gimmick. He's just saying the same word over and over again because he's nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Much like that body splash off the top rope that was disgustingly bad.
I've never seen The Rock do a flying crossbody. I don't think I've seen The Rock on the top rope.
Yeah. I got it. I think that was the first time I've seen it as well. I'm like, what the fuck? Man, that was bad. Mae Young could have done a better job.
Yeah. Yep. She probably did. Pretty sure she wrestled a few matches. They didn't fuck around, man. The Dudleys put her through a table. Like, holy shit.
I know.
I was like kind of holding on to the fucking side of the chair when I saw that. Like, is this where she dies?
It's all grown up.
That'll teach her. Oh, Jesus. Is that Patrick?
I don't know, but it's the hand all grown up.
I know.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they fucking...
Patrick, is that what you meant?
I totally forgot they did this.
Wow, goddamn.
AJ.
You fucking idiots.
AJ Lee.
Mm-hmm.
The little hoe that's Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So, on Nitro, some real 90s guy. Like, he almost looks like Terry Silver from Karate Kid. Some real 90s motherfucker. Hands Tony Schiavone and Sabisco a tape. And it's real confusing. You're like, what is this? He hands them the tape, says it's from 1992, and if you want Piper versus Hogan, then play the tape. And then he, like, walks off. And you're like, okay. So they're a little confused by it, and they go to a little promo package of Ric Flair. He's in Birmingham, Alabama. You know that famous doctor whatever. Pretty sure he did Austin's neck too, and it's like where all the athletes go. He was like a world-renowned doctor, you know.
Right.
Yeah, they go there, and he's all showing Rick has a torn... Unfortunately, no. Yeah, but he's like showing like Rick, and it's nothing special. I mean, just showing Rick has a torn rotator cuff from landing on his shoulder so much throughout the years, and how he's got to fix it. And Flair is going to be out for a while. I think he's out till like July 97, something around. He's out till like the second half of 97, and we're in November 96, so it's going to be gone for a while. Then we get another women's title tournament match. We're still in the first round. Zero with Sun. These are all Japanese wrestlers. Like, hire some fucking girls. I know there were girl wrestlers back then. Zero with Sonny Ono defeats Malia Hosaka via Splash Mountain. All Splash Mountain is a vertical suplex. Guess how much time they got for this match, Vinny?
No idea.
What would you guess? A women's WCW match?
3 minutes.
Zero defeats Malia Hosaka via Splash Mountain in 1 minute 42 seconds.
Damn.
Jesus.
I way too long. 3 minutes was way too long. You're right.
Because they never really had a women's division, did they?
No, and you know, like at this point, Medusa's like, "Why did I come over here?"
Oh, dude, that was her biggest fucking regret.
Yep.
Yeah. Imagine, because Sonny didn't want to wrestle. You could have had Medusa versus Sable, and that would have fucking made buku bucks.
It would have.
Yeah. Instead, she got to manage Macho Man, and you know, look, I'm sure it was cool to see Macho and shit, but Alundra Blaze was an athlete. She was a performer. Yep. She had that drive about her. She wasn't like fucking Stacy Keibler or something. You know, she wanted to wrestle. So
Major guns.
Yeah, like
Tylene Buck.
Like Bischoff had to have promised her something, but it's like the only person who's actually contracted through WCW to be in this tournament before or so far is her. So next we get a big WCW return. His contract expired a couple months ago. He didn't want to resign at first. Now he finally has signed. And ladies and gentlemen, Mean Gene Okerlund has returned to Nitro.
Oh, shit.
Tutti frutti, baby.
He's been gone for a couple months, man. I know he comes back, but it's like, where the hell is this dude?
Wasn't it
he had
because
to go to
his
rehab?
Kidney surgeries and shit.
His what?
He was born with kidney disease.
Oh shit!
I think his wife gave him a kidney or something.
Damn.
Yeah, no, he went through some shit, Mean Gene.
I figured he was getting off the nose candy. Had to go into rehab.
Well, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Back to you, Tony. Now, this is the best segment of the night, in my opinion. He interviews Diamond Dallas Page, and this is the first time where they've really went with the crowd reaction for DDP lately. Because Page was supposed to be a heel, but the fans are cheering him at this point. And it's all natural. Like, he was in a feud with the Guerreros before this and was playing the heel. But the fans just started cheering for him more and more. So he's on the entrance ramp, and Mean Gene mentions that it sure seems like the NWO has been courting him lately. The outsiders have been coming out, interfering in his matches, helping him win. And Page asks, he's like, "What are you talking about, Gene?" So Gene puts on. We play the fucking tape, and it shows a couple examples of what Gene is talking about. And Page says, "Look, I don't need anybody helping me in the ring because all it takes is one mistake and bang, diamond cutter." Page mentions, "I did used to manage Scott Hall and I used to tag with Kevin Nash, but that doesn't put the outsiders in a position to get involved in my matches." Then the outsiders come out and they join Gene and Page, and Hall says, "Forget about the past. DDP, you need to think about your future. This is your chance to join the NWO for life." And Page mentions, he's like, "What do you have? Like 7 guys now? 8 guys now?" Nash says, "You don't get it, man. They could have come to you. They could have come to DDP earlier, but due to politics, due to wrestling politics, they couldn't. DDP really isn't having it." And then Nash insinuates, he's like, "What do you live 2 houses down from Eric Bischoff?" And kind of starts insinuating that Page doesn't deserve the spot he has on the card. And Page is like, "I busted my ass down at the power plant. I've worked for everything I have so far, and all." And then they kind of reiterate it again, like, "Look, we would have come to you sooner, but due to politics, due to things going on backstage, we couldn't. But, you know, join us, put on the shirt." And Page is just, he ain't having it. I can only do it so much justice, but I suggest people go back and check it out. It was a good promo, and it was refreshing. It was refreshing to see him start to do something with DDP, because I'm a DDP fan. I liked him. He was one of the best parts of WCW.
Well, was he the only one at that point who refused them?
I think so.
So that's why that's what works, you know?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was. Now, they're not. Now, Sting has told him, you can't afford me. And like you said, it worked. Like, the fans are fucking going nuts for that. But they're still kind of playing that out, questioning, because they're saying Sting's in black and white. He came out and attacked Jeff Jarrett tonight, you know.
Right.
Whose side is he on? But yeah, Paige is the first one that basically flat out told him, no, I'm good. So
he said, go funk yourselves.
So back on Raw, Kevin Kelly is with Psycho Sid.
And he pooped in a cup for him, right?
Yeah, he did. He was like, save this for WrestleMania 13. That's where he poops his pants, too. That's just months away. He's going to poop in the Undertaker's yard.
It was which WrestleMania?
13.
It was 13. Wow. It wasn't a bad luck number for him.
You're going to need this, kid.
Like, if there's a place not to poop your pants, it's in the main event of WrestleMania versus The Undertaker. Just saying.
And Sid's like, and
like, this couldn't have happened on Superstars versus Owen Hart. It had to happen at WrestleMania, motherfucker.
Was that the main event?
Yep. Sid defending the WWF Championship against Taker.
He was so excited he couldn't hold it in.
I've got half the sphincter that you do. So,
son of a bitch.
Yeah. Kevin Kelly said that Sean made an honest mistake, and it's Sid, and he's all, mistake, that wasn't no mistake, you shut your mouth. Then Sid ran down all the growing tension between he and Sean throughout the past few weeks. But this Sunday will be no mistake. It will be the end of Sean's title reign. Sid will stand atop the mountain, and no man will cast a stone to knock him down, because he is the leader and the ruler of the world.
How do you shit your pants at that stage? And then, like, walk in, like, the next Monday or whatever. I'm ready for Raw.
At least no one had to wrestle after them, you know?
Thank God.
Yep.
Poor
yeah, hey, your next match after us, the fuck I am.
I mean, what would you rather wrestle with Owen Hart's blood stain in the corner or Sid's shit stain in the center of the ring, you know? Like,
man, what a nightmare this industry has been.
It's happened to a lot of wrestlers. A lot of wrestlers have pooped themselves.
Oh, yeah. I've heard a few. Oh, wait, Mr. Perfect did as well.
Did he? I know a couple females of June.
Evil Uno did in AEW. I think he was in the Indies at the time, but he shit himself because he wasn't feeling too good, and then went out and he's like, oh yeah, I should be good, and then ended up shitting himself in the match.
I should be good. Oh no.
But now, like, I guess they have things where, like, if you're not feeling up for it or feeling sick or something, they can, you know, let people know ahead of time or whatever.
Yeah, because it's unhygienic. Well, I know they said Mr. Perfect, it happened to him because he was waiting underneath, when they were hiding under the ring, you know, like when they got to do like a big.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I believe he shit in a cup. They said.
Yeah. Sounds familiar.
Unbelievable.
When in doubt, just shit in the cup.
Yeah. It's like, well, we can't. He's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. He's like, well, we got another 45 minutes.
It's like they don't know you're hiding under the ring, and you just come out of the side, and the fans start fucking cheering, and you grab the kid's little WWE collector's cup in the front row and go back under the ring.
when they shut the lights, someone's entrance, you just
Oh,
see Mr.
yeah.
Perfect run out of nowhere. He grabs a cup out of the kid's hand, darts something.
We've got to look that story.
And that's why Bret Hart used to give those sunglasses out, just in case. Like, okay, wait, which was the kid that you stole the cup from? That one over there. Okay. Here's some shades. Everything's all better now.
Especially, what if Mr. Perfect gave the cup back, when he was done? So at least that didn't happen. So after Sid runs his fucking mouth, we go back over to Steve Austin, and Vince starts asking Steve a question. Austin cuts him off, tells Vince to stop running his mouth because that's all he does. It's Austin's time to talk. Bob Holly's fixing to get a wrestling lesson, but it won't take Austin long to deal with him. Stone Cold says he knows Bret's watching, and the Hitman better watch what Austin does to Holly, because he better be prepared for Madison Square Garden. It's the most important match of Bret's life. Bret is making his comeback. He's trying to please his family, but Stone Cold isn't trying to please anyone but himself. Austin reiterates that after his match tonight, he's going to look for Bret Hart. And the bottom line is that Stone Cold is the best there is and the best there ever will be.
Yeah,
so
that sounded like something else. Only Stone Cold could please Stone Cold.
I'm gonna please myself.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Sounds like Virgil all over again.
Yeah. Calm down, Stone Cold. You don't want to get boners in the ring like Randy Orton. It's weird.
Randy Orton got a boner in the ring?
What?
So people used to joke about that, like that he gets boners during his matches, and I wasn't like looking to see, but they used to be Randy Orton.
Oh God, that's weird.
Like in his younger days, like yeah.
Well,
that's fucking weird.
It is June. He should come out of the closet.
Wait, are we making fun? Wait, I gotta get this
a wife
straight.
and kids.
Because there's a lot of dumb shit going on this month. Are we making fun of the gays or Juneteenth?
Well, I never understood what the fuck Juneteenth was.
Which one are we making fun of?
How is it Juneteenth if it's on the 20th? There's no teen and there's no cash.
Juneteenth, Draven is the
scheduling is a problem for them, Vinny.
Yeah. Juneteenth is the day that Booker T finally got to go over on Triple H.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Was that his five time?
That's it.
Hey, did he do a spinneroonie afterwards?
It'll be a cold day in hell before someone like you goes over on me.
Didn't he say he had nappy hair or something, dude? Like,
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm bitching about Triple H going over in Austin in that storyline. The Booker T one was way worse. Because it's like, he keeps saying all this racist shit. Like, but it's okay because he's going to win at WrestleMania. He's going to win, so it's okay. And then come WrestleMania day.
Not okay.
I think all in.
No.
After I've called you nappy-headed and said someone like you can never be champion and insinuated about your skin color 100 times, I think I'm going to end up winning. It's okay.
What
so
a
bad.
scumbag.
And to think, this was years before they called Mark Henry the Silverback, so that's what Juneteenth is, Draven. Rey Mysterio comes out, and he's wearing a Spider-Man mask. Like, it's his mask, but it's done in the style of Spider-Man's mask.
Marvel didn't go after them.
What's that?
Marvel didn't go after them?
I know, right? They probably didn't have the money to in fucking 1996.
Oh, that's right, back then. Yeah, you're right.
I'd put it all on Blade. Yeah, Rey Mysterio's wrestling Cyclope. But as he's heading out to ring, we see Sonny Ono sitting with none other than the Ultimo Dragon, who's covered in 8 different title belts. They go in the ring. Cyclope, this is my first time seeing him, I think. But he was a little like fat and sloppy. So Rey Mysterio made a quick work of him. finished him off with the springboard Hurricane Rana. And that ended up being the Pet Boys Power Pin of the week. During the match, though, WCW Cruiserweight Champion Dean Malenko was shown watching Rey Mysterio's match from the entryway. But his opponent at War Games is World War III, is Psychosis. So as Dean Malenko's watching Rey Mysterio, Psychosis comes out of the back and starts watching Dean Malenko, and it's, kind of showing that Dean Malenko's attention isn't where it should be. He's kind of obsessed with Rey Mysterio's style right now and trying to master that style. And that could spell bad news for him at World War III. After the match, Dean Malenko turns around to walk to the back, and at this point, it's been like 5 minutes, and he still didn't notice Psychosis. He turns around and got a little jump scare, and Psychosis is just watching him. And then Psychosis is like, I got your number, fool, and he turns around, and they both end up going backstage. So Hall, Nash, and Six come out together. They bother the commentators. And this is nothing. They're plugging the Cable Ace Awards that's going to be on TNT that Saturday. And they better win a Cable Ace Award, or they're going to steal one. And just kind of hype that for Ted Turner. So, yeah. Teddy! Yeah. Over on Raw, we're towards the end of the night now. Kevin Kelly's with Shawn Michaels. HBK says he and Sid have always had conflicting personalities. Sid wants Shawn to call him the master and ruler of the universe. Brett wants Shawn to be a role model and a superhero. Everyone wants to knock Shawn and call him chump change. But the fact is, everyone who's had something to say about Shawn Michaels has been kicked in the teeth by Sweet Chin Music at one time or another. He says tonight was a mistake, but even his mistake knocked Sid out cold. And this Sunday, he'll walk out of the pay-per-view as champion. And then we go into our Raw main event. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeats Bob Holly via the Stone Cold Stunner. And, this is a heel. And he's fucking beating people clean. They're not having him cheat or nothing. They're really building Austin up here. There wasn't no distraction on Holly or not. No, he just kicked Bob Holly's ass and stunned him. During the match, though, Bret Hart's shown backstage watching the match and kind of studying Austin on the little monitor. So Austin gets done wrestling and he heads back towards Bret's dressing room, and the camera's following him. It's a big deal. And he gets to the door of Bret's dressing room, puts his hand on the doorknob, and then stops. Then looks at the camera and says, everyone would like me to kick Bret Hart's ass, but you need to pay for that. Which is cheap. And he hit the door a couple times and yelled at Bret through the door, like, I'm going to kick your ass.
You can see it opening at one point, too, slightly.
Yeah.
So it wasn't actually locked.
Yeah.
Amateurs.
So, yeah, that was the final hype for Survivor Series, but we're also looking past Survivor Series, as next week, signed for Raw, it's going to be Steve Austin versus Vader, which is kind of weird because Vader's a heel and Austin's a heel at this point, but Austin versus Vader next week. Good episode of Raw. I thought there was a lot in there, they're really making the most of that hour they have. What say you, Etep?
Man, I wish I got to watch either of these, but Raw, from what you described, Raw sound honestly way better. And I say that, full well being more of a WCW fan, but I mean, just the stuff going on Raw was way more compelling during this week. But obviously, it is. It's the birth of one of the most if not the most influential figures in professional wrestling history.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably, if he's not on your professional wrestling Mount Rushmore, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah, and I think, he was more popular than Hogan. Like, he was getting bigger pop, selling better merchandise.
Absolutely.
But fucking he got injured, so he burned brighter, but for not as long.
Because that piece of shit Owen Hart.
And
Why
hell,
have I
Frankie knows.
Why have I never seen this with McMahon?
I just did a quick Google search and found it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Trying to
What
get
a
pussy from
spaz.
It has to be with during when Undertaker was American Badass because of the bike there. So
Oh. Yeah, I wasn't watching around then.
Yes.
I dipped out a couple of times.
yeah.
That's because I missed like the whole Batista run and all that shit. I'm like, who's this?
I caught like part of that. I didn't watch all of it.
I remember I was at WrestleMania 23, so I saw Batista work Taker. And honestly, at that point, I was like, just put him over on Undertaker. Just end the shit.
I think I was out right before the first Elimination Chamber.
I want to go to a WrestleMania. I want to go to a Royal Rumble too. Could have went to SummerSlam last year, but I just don't care. I don't want to. It's like I was so tired of John Cena. Couldn't wait to see what would come after him. And then it's Roman Reigns. So to main event SummerSlam with John Cena and Roman Reigns, I'm just not fucking interested.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not. So
They're trying to beat CM Punk's reign as champion with Roman.
Haven't they already?
They either have or they're really close.
They have, because they talk about like only Pedro Morales, Hulk Hogan, and Bruno Sammartino have a longer title reign now. Yeah, something like that.
I thought we didn't talk about Bruno. Oh, sorry, that's an Encanto reference. My bad.
I was gonna say Bruno's like the Italian Jesus, man.
I was making an Encanto.
Yes,
Bruno Sammartino.
He practically was.
Yeah, my Sicilian uncle fucking loved Bruno. He's the one that got me into wrestling, actually.
Nice.
Instead of Jesus candles, the Italians had Bruno Sammartino candles.
It's true.
Judas Goat Barbecue says, a black nurse I knew from New Orleans used to joke with the Texas black folks, why are y'all celebrating the fact that it took you 2 years to hear about the Emancipation Proclamation? So, and then even then, there were still slaves in the country. Like, that wasn't the end of slavery. That maybe, and for the most part, Texas, but yeah. So, over on Nitro, Hour 2, you've got Eric Bischoff, who has returned to the show, Mike Tenay and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Lex Luger versus Scott Norton ends in a torture rack in about 6 minutes, 17 seconds. Arn Anderson has a backstage promo during the match. I know he's injured, but I guess he'll be back by the pay-per-view. He said his only mistake at Halloween Havoc was making Luger mad. He didn't realize Luger had that kind of rage in him. But on November 23rd, he's going to punch Luger's cunt. So Sting is shown, of course. Sting is watching down from the rafters. And the commentators question Luger's mentality, but Luger's on a hot streak right now. He is. So the commentators also talk about World War III and Luger being a favorite to win and challenge Hogan for his title. And then we replay Sting attacking Jarrett earlier, and they note that Jarrett has professed nothing but loyalty to WCW since debuting. And literally, like, within 2 sentences, they say Sting hasn't been like this since we questioned his loyalty, which we were wrong to do. And then they start questioning whether he's with the NWO or not, like right after that.
Yeah, and Mike Tenay and Tony Schiavone both give what's his name shit for questioning his loyalty.
Yeah,
because they're like, this is what got us into this, so shut your mouth, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Mean Gene interviews Lex Luger in the ring and asks about what Sting did earlier, but Luger says he doesn't have any more answers than the next guy. No calls, no messages answered, but Luger's been on a roll as of late, and it's not about the individual accomplishments. WCW is in its darkest hour. The NWO holds the world title, the tag titles, and here's Luger trying to carry the WCW banner by himself, but it's too much for one man to hold. And he is sorry for questioning Sting's motives. He's sorry, and we need you, Sting. Please come back. So then Bischoff mentions the tape that was handed to the commentators earlier is a Roddy Piper tape. And they're going to look at it later in the show. And this is all playing up to the ending. In fact, I'm going to see if we can find that on YouTube and play it. I don't care if I get a strike. We're going to play the Roddy Piper tape.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Harlem Heat is with Sister Sherry. And they go against the amazing French Canadians who are being managed by Colonel Robert Parker.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's been fucking with the Heat lately, and yeah, so this ends with Sister Sherry attacking Colonel Parker. But we get a WCW debut during this match.
Oh.
Because while it's going on, we go to the backstage and the Nasty Boys are shown trying to get into the arena, but security, including Doug Dillinger, informed them they're banned from the building for basically, okay, they didn't join the NWO. They got beat up, but they tried to. They tried to leave WCW, betray them, and join the NWO, even though they have a tag match against the Outsiders at the pay-per-view. But they're not allowed in the building. I don't get it either.
Yeah, I was confused about that too.
Yeah, why would you skip? You're not allowed in the building. You turned your back on us. You're scheduled to wrestle at the pay-per-view, by the way. But as the Nasties walk away, they run into Brutus the Barber Beefcake. So, and they're like, what's he doing here? Yeah.
Wasn't that the Zodiac?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I guess it wasn't his debut, huh? He's just been
Zodiac,
gone for a while.
the Booty Man.
Yeah, the Booty Man.
Yeah,
I forgot about the Booty Man.
He's just been gone for a while, my bad. Well, technically, it's a new gimmick now, so it ain't the Beefcake either. It's whatever he is now. Disciple, whatever. So, next we get Conan defeating Chris Jericho via DQ. Basically, Jericho almost ran into Nick Patrick, who they've been beefing lately. You see them fighting. What sense does it make to make Nick Patrick his referee? But it's wrestling. Jericho almost runs into Patrick and just stops, but then Conan drop kicks Jericho, and Jericho runs into Nick Patrick, and Nick Patrick disqualifies Jericho for hitting the referee. Now we're in the final stretch of Nitro. Miguel Perez Jr., which I guess it's his debut for WCW, but he's going to be in WWF in a couple months. Miguel Perez Jr. defeats Juventud Guerrera via roll-up when Juvi misses a 450 splash. Then we go to Ted DiBiase and Vincent in the audience. They call out Sting. They have a shirt for Sting, Great Minds Think Alike. And DiBiase thanks Sting for attacking Jarrett. And they'd like to give Sting the opportunity to put on the shirt. So Sting, wherever you are, come join the NWO. And then we go into the Nitro main event. The Faces of Fear with Jimmy Hart defeat the American Males via the Kick of Fear by Ming to Scotty Riggs. After Buff Bagwell tries to help and it just didn't work out. And they've been playing that angle up lately. Kind of like what the Smoking Guns were doing, where Bart and Billy kept making mistakes and Billy was getting frustrated. That's kind of what's going on with the American Males right now. Buff is getting frustrated. They keep making mistakes. They can't win a match. And this is when we find out the Nasty Boys. You just saw security just went up to the Nasty Boys and said, you're not allowed in the arena. You tried to join the NWO, motherfuckers. They didn't take you, but you can't be in here. And then this is where we find out they're scheduled for the pay-per-view. because Jimmy Hart gets on the mic and he's like, why are the Nasty Boys scheduled for the pay-per-view when they're not even allowed in the arena? He's like, my face is a fear of the most dominant tag team in the company right now. They should be the number one contenders. So he says they should turn the match at World War III into a triangle match at least. And let the Faces of Fear join with the Nasty Boys against the Outsiders. So now we're at the main event, or not the main event, but the final segment. And
that's nasty.
Let me see if why would this why we're gonna watch what the tape was, and I don't care if I get a strike or not. We're gonna watch the damn tape because why?
Fuck it,
why?
We'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Why? Like, all this mysterious tape gets handed over, and you're like, what could this be? And it pertains to, yeah, I know, Glenzer. Both black people and white people can celebrate this one. Why? You're waiting off fucking episode. Like, what could this tape be? And this is what the fucking tape is.
I've been watching you all night, 'cause everything about you, it's so right. The way you look, the way you move, the things you say, the things you do. Oh baby, I've been looking for you all my life. And if you're looking for someone that'll treat you right and never cheat on you, will never tell you lies, honey, if that's your plan, I'm your man. And if you...
Oh my god.
This goes on for 3 minutes.
Oh my god.
Right here. C's looking up. It clicks off so fast. It says Hulk Hogan versus Brian Pillman.
Yep.
Right there. And it's the Hollywood Bowl. So yeah, this goes on for 3 fucking minutes. That nobody
This video is from 92.
Holy shit. I thought this was from like 87.
Now, I ain't no prince, you know?
Yeah, right there it fucking says it.
Prince, you know?
Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan. Like, and you see how quick that goes. Nobody's gonna fucking notice that.
Mm-hmm.
And they make us sit through 3 minutes of this.
Yeah.
After replaying the same promo the past 2 weeks in a row, we got to watch that.
At least the song's better than that Road Dogg song.
Yeah, I guess. None of those are like Macho Man's rap. That's the best. But
be a man, Hulk.
I forgot about the Macho Man rap.
Be a man, Hulk.
Then Hollywood comes out with giant
album.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Hollywood comes out with giant Vincent Ted DiBiase and Miss Elizabeth dressed in a sexy Santa outfit on November 11th. But you know, hey, any day is a good day for Elizabeth to be in a sexy Santa Claus outfit. And you think, geez, yeah, you're like, what do they possibly have in store for Elizabeth tonight? Nothing. They just get in the ring. Hogan says, Elizabeth, come here. She stands with him. And he says that everybody has the Christmas spirit. Hollywood calls him Santa or Santa Hulk or whatever. Santa with muscles. And that Francis Ford Coppola and Steven Spielberg are calling for him to be in his movies. And he's like, okay, get Elizabeth out of here now. Like, she was literally there just to look at.
She's a prop.
Yeah.
Holy
so then he
shit.
says he's the NWO champion. He hasn't heard a squeak out of Piper in 3 weeks, so just bring it on. And then he just flexes in the ring and it's over. And it's basically the same promo he's given for 3 weeks now. And it's just...
I thought you were going to say for 30 years at this point.
Yeah. It's like the last 3 weeks Nitro ends with some kind of Roddy Piper replay or music video.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hogan coming out saying, I'm the NWO champion. Roddy Piper sits when he pees. And then he flexes, and that's the end of the show. And that's been it for the past 3 weeks. So I'm going to give both of these weeks to Raw. I am. Now, Nitro had the better wrestling. But Raw was just kind of the more compelling show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, story-wise, it was better.
I think he treated his Boas better than he did Miss Elizabeth.
Minus the Sting parts, I really liked. Those parts I liked just because of Sting. I'm a little biased.
Yeah.
Yes. Dude, Sting and Jarrett was awesome. And
yeah, it was.
DDP and the Outsiders.
Yeah, the DDP shit was good too.
Yeah. Those were the highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan was just, no. Like, Hogan. It would have been, yeah, it would have been nice if he, like, wrestled or had a longer, more meaningful promo, but I just, don't care that. I get at the time, you're like, whoa, Roddy Piper's there, but watching back, it's not very fun, especially when you know how they kind of treat Roddy in WCW anyway.
Dude, it was awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. And they said it was even worse backstage. He just, he was disgusted by all of them.
Yeah, you could tell Bret Hart wasn't very happy too, but Bret was kind of stuck there,
Yeah. Well, yeah, he had no choice for what they did to him, and then he's 100%, yeah, I'm fucking going no matter what. And then he's there and he's like, holy shit, nobody knows what the hell they're doing. Okay, everyone's NWO, now what?
Yeah. Do you
they
know
had
how
no plan.
Do you know how fucked up it must have felt to be such a ring technician and just love the business and take it so serious and have someone like fucking Goldberg put you out?
Dude, I can't even remember one match that he had over there.
All I remember is him losing the streak. That's all I remember.
Who, Bret? Well, Vinny, were you talking about Bret?
Yeah, Bret. Him
and Chris Benoit had a killer match in Owen's memory.
Okay.
No pun intended.
Right.
They had a really good match on they just and that props to WCW. They kind of let them just go at it, go out there and do what you do, for Owen's memory, and they did. Right. They did. Fucking great match.
I gotta go back and find that.
Yeah. It was a couple weeks or couple months after Owen died, because obviously Bret was pretty fucked up by that.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. Great match. Probably one of the best matches in just pure technical wrestling match in Nitro's history.
Mm-hmm. Did Dean Malenko ever wrestle against Bret?
I don't think they ever went one-on-one.
He was just too small. They didn't want him to go in the ring with
him. I don't think they ever went one-on-one. I don't even think they really ever squared off in a tag.
I got to see Bret Hart versus Sting. Yeah, Dean Malenko and Bret Hart did wrestle on
really?
November 23rd, 1998. And then there's a part 2 here. And they had a submissions match.
Oh, nice.
Part 2. Yeah, I got to see it. It was cool. It was Bret Hart versus Sting at Halloween Havoc 98. And they were like the Scorpion Deathlock versus the Sharpshooter.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. Bret won, of course. But he was NWO, so I think they cheated.
Shit. I didn't realize Molly Holly was in WCW.
Yep, she was Miss Madness.
Yeah, I did when I was looking up that what you call it, the Miss Elizabeth and the Santa thing, a thing with Macho, Medusa, Gorgeous George, and her were there. And I was like, wait a second, is that who I think it is?
Yep.
Nice.
So let's big week. You know, we had a day. We blah blah blah. We had a double episode this week, and I probably should have plugged this earlier when we had like 14 people watching. But next week, you know, we usually go over the pay-per-views the night of, but we had 2 weeks to go through. But we've got a special guest joining us next week here on the Monday Night War Retrospective to cover the 1996 Survivor Series, and then the following week, what is it, the 18th of November? So we've got Jeff from the World Class Bullshitters joining us next week.
Nice.
His favorite wrestler's The Rock. So I'm like, hey, he's gonna debut here. Do you want to come on and talk about it? See, because I know Jeff didn't start watching till around, you know, the Attitude Era when Rock was getting bigger. It's like, come see your boys' roots. Come see your boys' roots. The blue chipper. Die, Rocky, die. So, yeah, he'll be joining us next week. So be sure to tune in. Let's go around and everyone plug what you got. And we'll say goodnight for the evening. And real quick, chat, you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining us. I'm seeing names that were here at the beginning of the shows. I mean, thank you guys. It means everything. Mr. Etep, what you got going on?
Let's see. So we got going Rogue. We got the tomorrow night and the members stream, and possibly a Saturday night live show this week. And let's see. Next week we'll do Going in Raw Monday, and then we got to take off Wednesday and next Saturday, as I will be building the studio next weekend, and I have to tear down the old studio and start moving the rest of the stuff over to the house on Wednesday. So live streams will resume on, let's see, what will be the 27th will be the next after tomorrow night. The 27th will be the next live stream. Probably not going to be much by the way of content on the channel next week. I appreciate everybody hanging in there, but yeah, I'm going to be building the studio because the estimate I got was out of control, and I have a group of people that are able to do this, and we're going to do it. So we'll have the studio built and get that all set up, and be back and better than ever producing content. So thank you, brother.
Definitely, man.
Fun, man.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude, I know you've been burning the candle on both ends lately. So thank you for joining us tonight, bro.
You're welcome, brother. That's why I'm not on camera right now.
Yeah. I feel you, bro.
All right. I'm Angelous Draven. You can catch me over on Twitch playing video games, and then here on YouTube as well. I'm going to be doing the Forbidden Door pay-per-view watch party from AEW. The show is actually the 20th, like the live event is actually the 26th, but I work, so I won't be able to watch it then. So I was thinking either the 27th or the 28th. I got to check with these guys, see what works for them. But yeah, so stay tuned. Keep everybody posted.
Forbidden Door. I hope Mox wins the title.
I do too. And then whoops Punk's ass.
Yeah, I wish they'd do more with Mox. Like, he's in his prime right now. This isn't the time to really sideline him.
No, and I hope they do give it the Mox, because during the pandemic he didn't really have that. Because that's when he was the champion during the
everything. He was their first champion,
Yeah, so he didn't really have that good of a run, just because there really wasn't an audience to like kind of
feed off of.
So
yeah, you get that whole experience. So that I couldn't have watched wrestling then. Like, if you just did an empty arena and had staff members, which is why I think AEW did fine, and it still seemed a little bare bones, obviously, but fine. But that weird WWE screen bullshit, that was weird. That was weird. Yeah, and the same like at football, they had like cardboard cutouts of people. Like,
yeah, I remember seeing like clips of that, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
So weird.
Cutouts. What a bunch of nut jobs. Yeah, like that's
Fruity
really
ass
cool.
bastards.
I'm just saying, an audience like that, it isn't very fulfilling. But do you know who is fulfilling?
And good news too. I got the bulk of the orders all out the door now. So if you back me, check your emails. You should have the tracking numbers there. Tony, I know yours went out today as well. Yeah, Walton was in that pack as well, in that setup.
I got mine today, so
mine's in my hand right now.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, so you guys want quality? You want some of the best work you're gonna get out there? Yeah, campaign number 6, Shadow of the Kraken, issue 1, out right now. So yeah, if you want to order it, you can just go to VinnieArt.com. It'll take you right over to the campaign, and yeah, you can put it in, and I will put it in the mail tomorrow. I'm that quick now, so I'm all caught up. So if you put it in order, you're gonna get it immediately. And that's how we roll here. You know, we're not any fat bitches, drama queens, none of that stuff. We're not doxers like a certain frog. We're getting work done, and we're having a good time here. We're talking about the shit that we love, and poking fun of the industry. But yeah, so if you want more great stuff, more great content, funny shit, good old Hans Cock. I'm gonna start doing some more of those again now too. That I have, you know, a little bit of time back. Because holy crap, this has been exhausting. I got a splitting headache all day long. But hey, you know what? You guys are getting your bucks, so that's what matters. And I might take a day or two off.
Hell yeah.
You deserve it, bro.
Right?
Thank you for the hard work, man.
Yeah, man.
Dude, it's a pleasure, man. I love storytelling. I love getting these books out there, and yeah, I can't wait to hear what more people think of the story. Because again, Shadow of the Kraken, it's all me. Did the work with like 7 to 10 people by myself. And that's how we roll here, man. We're getting product done. Great story, great artwork, none of the bullshit. So thank you guys. Much love to the chat. Much love to all you gentlemen on panel, and can't wait for next week.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, next week will be a big show. I'm very much looking forward to it. I didn't watch much YouTube in the past, like maybe a music video now and then, but Jeff Hicks, he helped pull me into YouTube, you know, when it was after The Last Jedi, and I'm turning on Rebel Force Radio and all these different Star Wars podcasts I would listen to, and everyone was just so fake, like, yeah, you know, The Last Jedi was different, but it was good. And I'm like, nobody is talking about this how they should be. Like, that was such a bad movie. And then I was like Googling, like, The Last Jedi was bad, and like just trying to find someone who was speaking my language. And first voice I came across that was the first person talking about The Last Jedi, how it deserved to be talked about, was Jeff Hicks. I caught one of his solo release videos, and World Class Bullshitters, that's kind of a cool name, and subscribed to it. And then I get notified of his next video, and he just kind of pulled me in the game from there to here now, you know, doing my own show. So yeah, Jeff is a great man. I'm looking forward to
we always have a blast every time we hang out. And yeah, like I said, I'm very much looking forward to it, like I said, because it keeps getting better and better. Like you said, the Attitude Era, all this shit is starting to happen. Good times.
Hell yeah. And, you know, if you want more good content, ladies and gentlemen, you know, there are not enough hours in the day for me. And I know, like, Vinny, what you're talking about, I'm sure you wish there were a few more hours. Like, Etep's doing his thing, you know, like, we all need more hours in the day. But the point is, I finally got to sit down and read Infinitel Chronicles last night from Chris Fisk.
So good.
Really, really good. And Hail Keely Chow, thank you, man. Thank you for joining us.
Man.
Go pick up Infinitel Chronicles. There's what, like 30 books left, and it's gone?
Something like that, yeah. Chris is he's been doing such great work, man. Awesome friend, but one hell of a creator. So yeah, I recommend it all the way as well.
Yeah, everything was quality about that. From the paper it was printed on to the story itself to just everything about it. There's love and passion put into it. So yeah, check that out. Check out go to sunsworn.com. Check out Red Gaze's work. Go sign up for Bonds the Forbidden Child, Bonds 2.
The Cursed Child.
The Cursed Child.
Cursed Child. It's okay.
I fucked that up.
It's alright, brother. I got you.
Go check out Bonds. There's fucking, if you like Draven, if you like vampires, then you're gonna fucking love werewolves.
Yeah. One day we'll get an indie vampire book. One day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
So, with that being said, I haven't read Shadow of the Kraken yet, but that would be cool. Like fucking, they stumble upon some like vampire fucking island. Yeah. I don't know.
You never know what my world. I got so much crazy shit happening, and I keep jumping genres, but I find a way to tie everything in a good way. And yeah, don't worry, guys, you're gonna love it all. But yeah, Tony, again, you can start checking your tracking numbers soon.
I just checked it now. I'm like, oh, and went in my email. Fucking A, dude.
Yeah. I think you should be getting it by next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it said, like the 22nd or something.
I'm gonna probably do an unboxing of mine this weekend since I have all.
Oh yeah. I think there was a little something extra in there too for Trey, if I remember correctly.
Let's see.
Thanks.
What have we got, Etep?
I don't know. I'm looking. I'll turn my camera. I got all my lights off. Let's see. Yes, there is.
Hell
That's
yeah.
right. Hang on.
Uncle Vinny looking out.
That right there.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
That'll be getting framed, honestly.
That shit's amazing to me.
Yeah, and like I said, if I didn't have all my screen lights turned off, I would turn my camera back on, because yeah, the detail in this art, gang, fucking amazing, Vinny. Your work never ceases to impress. I mean, I'm looking at the chest of coins in this picture here, and the fucking detail in those, like each coin is, it's not just, you know some artists would fudge that and just make it like a mess of coins, and have like a couple outlines
or just some kind of brush. I do it all now. I just draw it all, make sure everything's gonna look absolutely gorgeous.
And everything is vibrant on this. That's it's fucking gorgeous, man. I'm looking forward to reading this.
Yes, I can't wait. Through the Woods was such I need to get City of Venus too, but
I need to read City of Venus.
City
I might
Venus
wait
is
until
really
the sequel is done, or the second one is done, and you just read them both back to back.
I kind of wish I would have done that with Infinitel Chronicles. It left off. I'm like, I would have, you want to see what happens next. It's really exciting. So,
but hey, that's the point of it too, right? It's you give the support, and we're able to actually make more. If the support's not there, but people gotta, I'll wait for the next one. It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. So, guys, definitely support these people. Skip next month's episode of fucking Miss Marvel and Kenobi, and fucking find yourself an independent artist and support them, because it's so much more gratifying, and it's nice to be entertained by something, where you're not waiting for the hammer to drop. You're not waiting for the person's own personal fucking agenda to start plaguing the story. It's beautiful. Right. Every book I've supported so far, I don't regret. I'm looking forward to the next one. It's so good. So, with that being said, remember, they're not pop culture. They are agenda. We are pop culture. And we'll talk to you next week.